Uh, Leva. Leva. Is it Leva? I think it's Leva.
You know, I'm gonna do a quick thing on Instagram.
All right.
Saying that we are going on YouTube.
There you go. This thread with Charlie Moore is fucking great. So Jay, I bumped into Jay on Friday on the water.
Lash.
Yep.
So that's funny because I bumped into him Friday morning before when he was on his way. I saw him at Dunkin'.
No shit. Nice.
Yeah. I see him all the time.
So
he lives fucking 2 miles from me.
Oh yeah. So Jay comments on this reel where he's like, I think he's showing off Emmys. He's like, drink another, getting caulked and fishing like it's 99. Like, that's awesome, Jay. And then he responds and tags us. He goes, FTG. And then Charlie chimes in. He goes, genuine for 89. Jay comments, he goes, TV Mad Fisherman, have you heard of FTG? It's up there with the Emmy. People are floating your name as the next honoree. Jigs and Bigs, what do you think? Honorable mention?
I can't believe he was actually like commenting back.
Responding.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He goes, stay classy, Jay. Be a role model for your wife and Harrison. Yes, the French version of FTG. I know what that means. And that problem has made me a lot of money. So keep the award. Thanks. Happy 4th of July weekend. Enjoy your family. Jay goes, yeah, no comment. You got nothing. Stay low, my friend. You got that covered. And then he comments again. He goes, okay, tough guy. Tell your wife and my kids I said hi.
Charlie said that?
No, that's what Jay said to Charlie.
Oh God, even better.
That's even fucking better. So then Charlie goes, tough guy. Didn't go on your social media page and talk nonsense about you. Tough guy, LMAO. How old are you? Social media wannabe. I love it. And then he goes again, he comments again. He says, explain to the people who don't know what FTG means. Okay, tough guy? Because again, Charlie doesn't understand what FTG means.
Right.
He has no idea. So Jay comments and he goes, and you did go on my page and talk nonsense while mentioning my son's name. You should be ashamed. So then Charlie comments again. He goes, what the heck are you talking about? You okay, brother? Not me. I only responded to your comment on my site. Not sure what your deal is or why you've been busting my bobbers, but yeah, please stop. Show some respect. 100. Then Jay comments. He goes, FTG is a segment on a local podcast. He means fuck that guy. I explained my reasoning for the trolling. For trolling you in another comment. To be fair to the show, I don't represent them. I'm just a jighead. Jigs and Bigs is the show, and he tagged us. So then he goes to Jay. He says, yes, I only respectfully responded to your negative comment on my account. I know exactly what it means. Well, I'm lying. I had to Google it, LMAO. No disrespect at all. Why don't we start over? I'm just doing my thing, bro, crushing life, enjoying it until it's game over. 100 check. Then he comments again and says, understood. Let me come on the podcast and I'll blow you all away with some good times. Reach out anytime. I can start and move forward. You want no part of it. Got it? 100. Jay comments again. He goes, hook it up. This was just this morning.
Yeah.
He goes, hook it up. I was going to nominate him for an FTG, but I think he deserves a chance to prove him wrong. So then he goes, I have nothing to prove, but I would love to join. Let's do it. Guaranteed entertainment. So then Jay comments, he goes, sounds good. Looking for it. And this was only like less than an hour ago. He goes, sounds good. Looking forward to it. Jigs and Bigs. Now I messaged Charlie Moore and I'm not going to talk about all this shit on the show. So the jig heads that are in here, you guys are getting a little bit of fucking info. I DM'd Charlie Moore. I was like, hey, Charlie, let's get you on the show. Here's a link to schedule a time slot and to record. What's listed is my typical availability. Just pick a slot that's good for you. If for any reason there's a conflict, rescheduling is a snap. And then I left the link. Not even read. Yep. You know what though? I got an idea. I'm gonna fucking comment right here. Cynthia, the DM, the oh, I'm stirring the pot. DM'd the link for scheduling. Looking forward to it. And I'm gonna fucking put the arm flexes. Boom, boom. This guy's a fucking douchebag. A douchebag. Not a fan, but this could be very, very interesting. We're letting the jig heads into some shit. There's 5 of you guys in here right now. We're gonna record a great show. John Hagens, Tim Behan, how we doing, guys? Oh, John Hagen's helping me do some sleuthing. This is gonna be good. We're gonna have a great show. Let's fucking do this. You ready, Joe?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's fucking fire away. All right, we are rolling. We got that all set in 3 and hold on. Let me make sure that this is. Yep, we're streaming good. I'm a little concerned. 3, 2. Alrighty, guys, Jigs and friggin' Bigs. It's Bobby Roast Beef here again with an amazing show. We got Who the Fuck is Joe Brown with us in the co-host seat. Man, we have an amazing show to line up for you. We got some records got broken. We got some PB alerts to talk about. Your boy has actually, I got a lot of updates regarding what I've been doing this week. Crazy stuff has been going on. Plus, we have an amazing FTG, by the way, that I only dropped on Instagram a day ago, and already a lot of opinions are being thrown out there. It involves trespassing. It involves Karens. It involves all kinds of bullshit, and we're going to get down to the bottom of it and have a great conversation with it. But we got a bunch of jig heads to talk with us. We also have some great stuff for you in Just the Tip and in Gear of the Week as well. Something very specific that we're going to talk about. A presentation that really kind of hit it out of the park this week for one of us. Who is that person? We're going to find out in a bit, guys. Don't go too far. We got much more Jigs and Bigs coming up right after this. Get yourself something delicious to enjoy. We'll see you guys in a fucking bit. Oh, yeah, baby. You know, just Mountain Dews, baby. That's what we're doing. Just crushing Mountain Dews. Cheers, Joe.
Cheers, my friend.
This is a good show right here. We get to celebrate a little bit, man.
We do.
We do. And you know, I know we start our weeks and we go through all of our stuff, but this week I think you had the biggest week. I really do. I think you had the biggest week.
Yeah, it was a good week. I had probably the best day of bass fishing I may have ever had.
That's a bold statement.
Man, it definitely locally, definitely around here.
Yeah.
I did. It was wild. It was just a wild day. Yeah.
That's freaking awesome, man. Well, let's go ahead. Let's walk through. Let's go start from the beginning. Let's get through it all.
I got my notes here. I got my whole week here in the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
I did put in there because I didn't want to forget anything for you guys. But so Monday and Tuesday, nothing fishy. Just normal days, just getting ready for the 4th of July weekend.
Yep.
Wednesday, go to work. I left a little bit early. It was kind of like a half daisy thing. On my way home, and I get a call from the place that the Skeeter was at.
Okay.
That I didn't have for almost 2 months. And I get the call saying, "Hey, your boat's ready. It's good to go." I'm like, okay.
Could it be? Yeah.
I was like, is this a I was like, is this some kind of trick? Because you guys basically told me that you couldn't figure it out 2 days ago, and all of a sudden it's done. But whatever. I was like, cool. I'm gonna go. I had my wife's car, so I was like, I gotta go drop this off, and I'll grab my truck and I'll head down because it's like an hour and a half ride for me.
Oh yeah.
So I did that, went and picked up the boat, and came home, told the wife, I was like, I am going out immediately tomorrow morning.
Yep.
And so I get up, dude, it was like, because I hadn't had my boat for so long, literally it was one of those nights where I was just like so excited I couldn't even sleep. Like I felt like I didn't even sleep. I just wanted to get out there so bad, getting the boat charged, making sure I had to put everything back in the boat because I took most of the shit out. So I was up kind of late doing that and whatnot and just prepping, but I didn't put everything in there because I still do have the new boat coming. So I didn't want to, I didn't want to put everything in there, especially the shit I know I'm not going to be using, just to take it out again. But,
makes more work for yourself
yeah,
later.
yeah, exactly. So Thursday morning, I get out there. It is like perfect conditions. Overcast skies. It did spit rain for like maybe 5 minutes, but I get out there and it was just like the water was glass. I was like, I am throwing top water. I was like, I'm
Fuck
doing it.
yeah,
Like,
baby.
yeah, I was like, this is gonna be a top water kind of day. So I go out there and I'm gonna just tell you right off the rip, and it's also gonna be in another segment, but I had tied on a Megabass Pop Max
Mhm.
that, and I'm not a popper guy, dude. I never had been. But I was
Yeah, you
like,
mentioned that.
and I was like, you know what, man? I was like, I like this thing. I like the design. I'm gonna do it. So I
Mhm.
throw this thing on. First cast, second cast. I actually had a couple blow ups on it, but they missed. And a lot of it was my fault because I had been frog fishing like from the bank, and like it's kind of the same motion with that popper. So I kept like they would hit it, and I kept like in my brain saying like, okay, gotta wait the 1-2, like I was frog fishing. I had to keep remembering I wasn't frog fishing anymore. I'm using a popper. So I actually missed a couple strikes right off the rip, and then I don't know. It was maybe 5-10 minutes in. I threw right next to a big patch of lilies that came out kind of far, but then it was clear up to almost to the shore. I threw it right next to there. Maybe brought it in maybe 5-6 strokes, and it wasn't like a big blow up or anything. It just it was kind of like a frog where they just where this fish just brought it in. I set the hook immediately, and immediately I was like, oh boy. I was like, oh boy. Like,
the video's amazing.
Yeah. So I use for that shit, for those things, I use mono typically.
For sure.
And so immediately it was giving me that, when the mono does the like ting 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 ting. It was like
the stretch,
it was giving me that immediately. So I'm like, oh boy, this is a good one. So I'm bringing it in. And then like it kept doing it, like, and like I realized, I was like, oh my God, I was like, my drag is way too tight. So you actually see it in the video. I know people don't like this word. I don't care. Cancel me, whatever. Dude, I went full retard for a second and forgot how to set my drag. So I actually set it tighter for a second there. You see it in the video. So I set it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I said it. I was like, no. So I finally loosened it up. And I just, in my mind at first, I was like, knowing that there was like a lot of grass and shit where I was, I was like, maybe this is just like a decent fish that just like grabbed the grass, and I'm dragging in grass too. And then she broke the surface. And that's when I started saying, I was like, giant. That's when you hear me in the video start saying it.
So good, dude.
Dude, it was just like right when that happened, dude, it was just like my heart was just like, I was like, I have to land this thing. And like, this is like the dumbest habit that I have. It's like I have this habit of like, I just want to be a man about catching these fish, and I never take out the net. I never take out the net. I just either boat flip them or go down and fucking just grab them.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw her, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had the fucking net out so bad. I was like, so now I'm just thinking to myself, like, oh my God. So I get her, I start saying the giant. I get her to the side of the boat, and usually I'm pretty, when I go to lip when I go to reach down and lip a fish, I'm pretty cognizant of like, I look down, see where the hooks are, so I know where to grab it. Bobby, with this one, I didn't give a fuck. I just just threw my fucking hand in there wherever I could get it. I didn't even grab it like underneath. I actually grabbed her like this. You can see it in the video. I have her like this because her mouth was so fucking big, and so I fucking grab her, and that's when I just started yelling. I'm like, PB. I knew it immediately. so I get her on the boat, dude, and you could like
People
there was
around you and other boats are like.
So it's funny. There was one boat that was probably like 75, 80 yards away from me. I mean, I don't know if they saw what was going on, and but so I grab it, dude, and then I actually cut out some of the shit because I just went on for like fucking
Oh yeah.
like a minute, dude. I'm just like, so I was like, all right, we can cut some of that out. But so I grab her. I actually hit because she was so I always fill up my live wells just in case. And
For sure. Yeah.
and put my oxygenator in there. So I actually put her in the live well for a couple minutes just to get like that oxygen flowing back in her.
Yep.
While I grabbed the scale and shit. Like that part's not in the video, but yeah, I threw her in there with the oxygen and everything with the, there was some G juice in there just to kind of get that flowing back in her gills. But yeah, so I grabbed the scale and 6 pounds, 10 ounces she came in at.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So big spawning mama. Who knows what she would have been, pre-spawn. I mean, probably closer, the 8 pounds versus close to 7 pounds. But
oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, I was just and here's the crazy part. I was obviously elated by that one. Like, dude, I sat down, I texted you immediately. I fucking started texting people, sending pictures. Tim, it's on my TikTok and on my Instagram page, American Vet Fishing. Both the videos are on both there. I'm gonna do a longer version of it for YouTube. I'm still editing it right now.
Nice.
I'm gonna put everything on there. So we're talking this one, Bobby.
Yeah.
So that fish. So I finally get her back in. I release her. I'm just elated. And dude, that wasn't the end of the day. That was my first fish of the day.
It's a good way to go. Isn't it feel great when you do that?
Oh my God. It was my first fish of the day.
Yep.
And then after that, I caught 2 4s, probably 4 or 5 3s. I caught and probably 3 or 4 2s and then a couple rats. It was the craziest day of fishing, especially on this body of water, to where it's like I hadn't been doing so well there lately.
Yeah.
But the only reason why I went there, the only reason why I went there is because it's not a big rec lake. And I know I knew it being, Friday, Friday, everybody's off, or Thursday. No, it's July 4th. It was the 4th of July.
I knew, how amazing is that?
Yeah, I was like, I know there's not going to be a shit ton of wreck boats out here, so this is where I'm going. Basically, it's just like, boat's good. Make sure the boat's good. I'll throw. And dude, it was just, and I have most of those fish on video that I'm going to put on the longer version on YouTube.
Yes.
It was it was such a wild day of fishing. Like, it was like and most of them came from topwater.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I end up getting a couple.
You were out early too, right?
Yeah, I that first fish was caught probably 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was on the water at like 5:15.
A couple hours.
Yeah. It was like, dude, I left at like 10:30. I was like, I think I've had a day. It was like 10:30, 11. I left. I was like,
I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was like,
that is fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. So it was just such a fucking wild day of fishing. It was, I don't think, I mean, if I was in a tournament, I probably would have had, probably 18, 19 pound bag, which is crazy around here. You know what I mean?
That's great.
And
yeah.
I don't know how many inches. I did not measure her.
I will say this. I took a good look at it, and now granted, I don't have Sean the Fisherman eyes.
Right.
He can dial in the length of a fish within about a 1/4 inch remarkably well. I'm probably at about like 3/4 of an inch to an inch.
Yeah.
I would say that this fish went about 22, right?
Yep.
And maybe even a little bit longer, maybe even hitting the 23 mark.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty fat fish, right? It wasn't
ton of girth on this fish. Even post spawn, it was wild. Like it was seeing her in that condition post spawn was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I can't even imagine what that girth would have been pre-spawn.
Dude, so here's what we got to make happen regularly on both of our boats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Taylor's measuring tape. It's one you can roll up really small. Right?
Yeah.
Taylor's measuring tape.
Yeah.
Or if nothing else, keep some leader line handy. So every time you break a PB, and I didn't think about this when it was in my kayak, and I know better. I have the measurements for my initial 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, get those measurements, man. Fucking replica, dude. So a fish like that, send it out the dark corner. Oh,
I know. It was so crazy. Like my buddy was like, "Oh, like you getting it like a replica or anything?" And I didn't even think about it until just then. I was like,
when I caught that monster in April, I was like, "Oh shit, this is dope." And I already had released it. I'm like, I looked at it, I was like, "I've got it on video." You know, I'm like, it's all right. You know, I'm not too concerned with it. But I'm like, that's one thing in the boat for sure. All of those items in a box, ready to go. Like it's gonna be labeled the PB box. But dude, fucking congratulations, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I'm stoked for you.
Yeah. So it was just like I said, it was by far one of the most wild days of fishing.
Yeah.
Maybe the wildest day of bass fishing I've had. I mean, especially it only going until 10:30 in the morning.
And doing it all top water.
It was 90% top water. I caught 2, I believe, off a wacky on a certain spot that I like hitting. That's kind of too deep for top water.
For sure.
But so I went in. I was super excited. I went home. I chilled. Did some stuff with the family for 4th of July.
Nice.
And then Friday, Friday was a boring day. I had to finally get an oil change in the truck. By the way, oil changes on diesels are not cheap. Found that out real quick. So went and got an oil change in that, and then we went down to. I know I'd mentioned it to you about possibly getting that other dog.
Yeah,
did I mention right. Yeah. Okay, so we finally the stars aligned and our schedules met up, and yeah, went home, chilled, glowed. I did a lot of gloating. I'm a pretty humble guy, but it was the people I gloated to, the people I know would appreciate it. Bobby was the first person. Bobby was the first person I texted. Yeah, so we went down. We brought our dog Draco, our German Shepherd now, because we're like, let's just see if they even get along, because this is a female German Shepherd. Mine's a male, obviously. And we went down, and they were like, it was like BFFs right off the rip. So,
that's great.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we decided we're gonna we didn't take her. We haven't taken her yet. We're like, all right, we'll take her. And the reason is they have 2 other females there, and they just don't get along. Like she doesn't get along with them. And they reached out to us because they know we have experience with the shepherds and stuff. And, we had got Draco from them. But, so we did that. We told them we're just going to need like a week or 2 just to prep the house, get all the shit we need. And they were cool with it, and they're going to bring her up. But
how old is she?
She is like 3 months older than Draco, so just under 2.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So they're not related at all. She actually came from Germany.
Oh, wow.
So she's cool. She's a cool looking dog. She's a long hair German Shepherd. Like full black face. Yeah, cool. She's cool. I'll send you a picture after the show. But so I did that, came home, came in. I for some reason it was one of those, like, I grabbed the beer and I was like, oh, you know what? I saw some like totes in the garage I wanted to like move and put back up on the shelf. Dude, I grab it was the last one. I grab it, right? Joe blew out his lower back for the first time. I've done it to like my upper back where I've pulled. Bobby, I was on the garage floor for an hour. There was one point I was like, Meg, you might have to call the ambulance. Like, I can't get up. Oh, dude, it was that bad. It was that bad. And then I was like, I finally got it. Meg. So she's like, she's just cracking jokes the entire time. I'm laughing. I was like, if you keep making me laugh, I'm gonna fucking pass out. Like, it hurt that bad. So she's walking away trying not to laugh. I mean, because this whole situation's funny, but it sucked. And
for sure.
So, dude, I was on the couch all day yesterday. Like, it was awful. And
Yep.
today, I got up this morning. And I was like, okay. I was like, it still hurts, but I'm like, I'm mobile. I'm mobile. So, what do you think I did?
You went fishing.
I hooked up the boat and I fucking
A. Yeah,
I woke up. I woke up Jeremiah. I go down. Because I had no plan to go.
Hell
And
yeah.
Joe is getting old. Joe's gonna be 40 soon. But I sneak into his room. I go, hey, and he like he did the like, oh, you know. And
Yep.
I was like, you want to go fishing? And it was just he was just like up like the crypt creeper or the crypt keeper dude. Like he's like, yup. And fucking so I went up, finished.
Awesome.
I finished, went up, and yeah, we went out there, and you know, it's post front, so we went to the same spot because obviously, and now I had to go back.
Yeah,
because I wanted him to get that top water bite, and we got a couple. We got a good between the two of us, probably got 5 or 6 decent bass.
Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah.
No, we were out for
front. Yeah,
that's what I mean. So it was like I told him, I was like, I'm hoping we're gonna get on some good one, like a bunch of fish. I was like, but with this storm just coming through, or this weather just coming through, I was like, it might be a little iffy. But
yeah.
no, he used shit. It came in a Dark Horse tackle box. It's basically a painted whopper plopper. It was like it's this cool color. Had him throwing that. He had a couple good blow ups on it. And then he's obsessed with the wacky rig. So he actually actually I have a picture of his biggest one. It was right around 3.
Yep.
Yeah, he's becoming a hammer, man. It's awesome.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, so that was his biggest of the day.
That's not bad at all.
So that's a pretty good fish, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Dude, it was on a little fucking so his two go-tos are a wacky rig, and he loves swim baits, dude, like little soft swim baits.
Yep.
This one was he ended up taking out. He was pissed because I didn't have any more spark shads in the boat.
I was gonna say,
he loves this. He loves the spark shads.
Awesome.
I didn't have any, so I there was a Kitech in there, but it was like the small ones,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the red. I had the red Jigmaster jig head, so it was white with the red jig head, and that thing smacked. I thought he was on the spot. He kept catching crappie, and he loves getting pinned, so he's like, I think I can get another pin crappie here. That actually, by the way, that one I just showed you, he missed another pin by 1/4 of an inch. So he was bummed. He was bummed. But that thing ripped that little swim bait. And I thought, like when he first had it, I thought it was another crappie, and then I saw the bend on the rod. I was like, oh no. I was like, that's not a crappie.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did it. Like we've talked about a few weeks ago how I had the habit of like helping him out a little too much. Dude, nope. He let him run his show. He's got a spinning rod. He fucking boat flipped that bitch. It was awesome. And then
that's awesome.
Yeah, he didn't have the drag set though. And after my debacle, I was kind of like I was like, hey dude, I was like, just try to spin that knob, the drag knob a little bit. But he was so like it came up and he was so hyper focused on catching it. So I was like, all right. I was like, it was kind of shitty, but I was like, if it breaks off, it'll be a good lesson for him to learn. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. Hard lesson, but a good one.
Yep. It broke off as he fucking flipped it into the boat. Just got in the boat. So he landed it. But yeah, so we did that, smashed a couple there. We were home by lunchtime, and the rest of the day I fucking had watched the kids spread mulch as I drank beers.
That's not a bad deal, man. Nice. That's a good fucking week, man.
Dude, it was what a great week between getting the boat back, that day of fishing, another great day with Jeremiah on the boat today. Yep. I'm fucking pumped, and be honest, that might have been my last send on the Skeeter. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see how my week goes.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
I this week was freaking bananas for me. Like, it was crazy. So little lesson learned. Remember after last Saturday when I absolutely ka-chowed, which I've learned, by the way, is the actual proper nomenclature for when you bust your prop the way that I did, a ka-chow. So,
okay. All right.
Matt Thayer straightened me out on that one real quick. I did some talking with folks, and I shared the pictures, and I was like, look, I go, how bad is this? Apparently, it was worse than I thought. Like
Okay.
it was pretty fucking bad. They were like, do not run that boat.
Yeah.
Do not run that outboard. Like, wait until you change that prop, because you're gonna fuck your motor up. And I was like, all right, fair enough. So I spent, Monday, I was like, all right, so I got to figure some stuff out. I did some, messaging. Obviously, I messaged Matt over at Hanks Marine, asking him about, a replacement prop. And he was like, yeah, he's like, let me take a look and I'll get back to you tomorrow. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. John over at JCS might be able to help me out too. So I messaged him, and this was like early Tuesday morning when I messaged him.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I started to get kind of antsy, and I'm like, oh shit, maybe they don't have a prop. Let me look around. So I started making phone calls. I called like 6 different places.
Yeah.
Asked everybody all over the place. I had the part number for the original prop, and I had made a call. Ultimately, some of these folks were just like, yeah, we don't have that part, blah, 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 blah. I was like, how about like a reasonable, substitute, something like that?
Yeah.
It's a little bit off, which is ultimately what I did. The pitch is just off by like 1/8 of an inch.
Sure.
Nothing crazy. And it was Oxbow Marina that was able to come through at the last minute.
Yep.
So that was like Tuesday afternoon. I did realize that changing your prop, the hardest thing about it is actually finding the fucking prop. That's the hardest part, is like finding the right part.
Yep.
I do have now I have this dry box that I have the what do you call it? Basically all the tools, all the hardware that I need to do it on the fly.
Sure.
And I'm going to be ordering just some cheapos that are in that, because I'm like, until I'm fully confident, like I don't want to waste money on a decent prop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be more cognizant of it. Well, I can say this. I did go out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. That prop has no scratches on it at all. Nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
Fully intact. So, hey, that's a win.
Yep.
I'm just watching the trim, over where I'm going.
Sure.
And
Sure.
So like I said, I went out Wednesday. My dad actually had come by on Tuesday. I told him I was running out to go get the prop, and he's like, do you need a hand with it? I was like, I've never done it. Why not? Come on over. So he comes over. We changed the prop out, and I was like, sweet, we're good to go. Let's fish. Dude, my dad and I had a day. We fished together on this lake in the town where I grew up, right? Where we haven't fished. Last time I fished, I was probably like 13 with him. Yeah. And I remember fishing the old yellow Old Town canoe with the flat back. So we had a trolling motor on the back.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I remember. So we there's this bed of weeds like right near the launch that I like, and I usually have really, really good results on. There were some fish there, but we just couldn't get them to bite. My dad was throwing this tiny little top water, almost like a jitterbug. Similar, just even smaller, super finessey. And he was throwing it on that Cashin combo that I had bought at Old Glory for him, right?
Yep.
And he caught, first fish in the boat was him. He caught a good sized pumpkin seed, right? Caught that sucker
on the top water.
On top water, yeah.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, that's fucking cool. All right. So I'm throwing a rat trying to get bit. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be great. Nothing. I eventually realized, I was like, wait a minute, dude. I'm like, it's a new scavenger hunt. I go, I'm gonna start throwing some BFS and see what we can put together. So I did. I caught a dink bass. Nothing crazy. I think I caught a couple of dink bass, and I was like, I'm not even gonna measure these, because these dink bass are like a dime a dozen. I made that mistake, and I made that mistake today. I'll get to that.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw around whatever we can get. And we're fishing some docks over there. We know some folks that live on this lake, and we're having a good time. It was just absolute blast. It was so like, this was a huge reason why I bought this boat, was to fish it with my old man, And he's like, when are we going again? So this is what's fucking cool. We noticed this spot because I was out there and I was using Navionics, right? On my iPad. And actually, we're going to do a little bit of unboxing because I got some shit that I want to show you guys. But I was using Navionics on my iPad, right? And it worked great. I actually tried to use the Omnia app because there's Navionics on there as well, but it's just the map layer. It doesn't track your location. You have to hit like new location all the time. Gotcha. But the Navionics app runs live. So it's showing me the direction that I'm going, the contour lines and everything. And I'm like, this works great. Like this will work fantastic. So I had a whole lot of confidence when because I did take it for a rip just to kind of like get some extra break-in hours on it, which I think I'm done. I think I'm good for breaking it in. I'm almost through a tank of gas, which will run for like 13 to 15 hours. So I'm pretty much there. So here I am, I'm doing my thing, and we see this one spot where it's like it's the deepest pocket of the lake. And I'm like, hey, maybe there's some trout over there. So we go over there and we see all these trout busted on the surface. And I'm like, well, there's no flies over here or anything like that. There's very, very light wind. I'm like, I wonder what it is that they're eating. So my dad's throwing like a spoon, and he's throwing he actually threw out some power bait, and he's like, see if we can get some trout. Cool.
Yeah.
Your boy caught 3 rainbows
on
a finesse bladed jig on one of the Jackal Dara breaks. Like they could not get enough, just slow rolling it, like let it hit the bottom and then slow roll it. These rainbows came in at like 13, 14, and 15. And the first one that came in, I was like, you know what? Let's keep this one. Let's keep it. I'll take this one home, whatever. And I was like, we get any more? Cool. We can limit out and whatever. We ended up catching those 3. And my dad goes, you know what? We had a picnic to go to on Saturday. And he goes, I got something in mind for that. So I'll get to this when I talk about Saturday, what he did with this. Because my dad, I think I'm a pretty decent cook. I learned everything I know in the kitchen from that man, 100%. That's like awesome. Through like osmosis and just eating the food that he made. And he made something that was out of this world. So yeah, it was just awesome, man. We're out there on the water, had a couple of cold ones, loaded the boat up. He's like, oh, definitely seems like you've done this before. And I'm like, it's my 5th time. I'm like, that's it. And he's like, no, really, no shit. So we load up the boat. Everything's cool. Head home that night, go to work, and I'm feeling great. This is awesome. Thursday, I had plans to go out with Queen Beef, the wife, right?
Yes.
Who now wants to officially be known as the Boat Bish. That's okay. All right. Be known as the Boat Bish.
So she likes it.
She definitely likes it. She had a great time. So I told her, I was like, let's not get up early or anything like that. I'm like, I'm going to fish, but I'm not out to fish. Like we're hanging out. That's the idea. So I left all my rods right in the boat, like all that stuff. I left my tackle bag in the boat. Everything was good. I got home from work, hitched the boat up. Everything's cool. And I said, all right, cool. I'll get up and everything. And I was like, you just get up whenever you're ready. We'll leave when you're ready to go. She got up and was ready to go out the door pretty much. I was like, okay, that's great. So what we did is I'm going to tell you the body of water we went to because it was insanity. All right. 4th of July. And again, like I was like, I wanted to go somewhere where there were houses on the banks that she would enjoy the eye candy, something like that. So I'm like, all right.
Something to watch. Yeah.
Yeah. But something a little bit like larger too, where we could kind of get lost out there. And that was the plan. So she's like, yeah, let's go. And I said, so I was thinking Webster or Otis.
Okay.
She was like, well, Otis is in the Berkshires, right? And I was like, yeah, it's like just in the Berkshires. And she goes, let's just do that.
Yeah.
So we go up to Otis Res. Now, I know the parking situation over Otis is kind of funky. There's only so many. Actually, I wasn't even aware there's an entire separate area for trailers to park too. So it's not as bad as I thought. But I was like, we'll see how launching is there. Launching was seamless. It was no problem. Sweet. She gets in the boat and was definitely a little bit like weary because there's no dock. And I'm like, I'm going to hold the boat here, just climb onto the casting deck and go ahead. And she was amazed, I think, at how stable that 16-foot boat, because I did the math for her. I was like, this boat is only 3 feet longer than my kayak and twice as wide.
That's crazy.
Like it's crazy,
Yeah.
But she's like, it is unbelievably comfortable. So she likes the seats. We tooled around for a little bit, got out into some deeper water, and I opened it up and everything. And she's like, this actually moves pretty good. I think we got up to like 25.
Yeah.
She's like, this actually moves pretty good. I was like, oh, absolutely. It's great. There was this one house I wanted to go and show her that was not too far from where we had launched. So I go over there and I'm fishing this dock that just looks beautiful. And I catch a red breast sunfish that just had the most vibrant colors. Like I was impressed by this, but she was blown away. She's like, that fish looks like it's plastic. Like it's so bright. It looks like it's artificial. And I'm like, no, it is. You want to hold it? She's like, no. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. we continue, we make some jokes about the Kyles that are zipping around on the lake lice and everything.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
wrecked boats, the jet skis. And I mean, like, they're going into spots where I'm like, why? If you
Right.
fall off your jet ski here, there are so many rocks, you're going to crack your head open and die. Yeah, I'm like, why, man? Stay in the deeper water. So we had some fun with it. I was flipping jigs into some stump fields and shit. Couldn't get a bite over there if I freaking tried.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let's just tool around for a little while. I want to see if I can find some grass. And I went into this one little cove and I did find some grass, sparse grass, but I did find some. And I was like, the color of this water. You remember we did that Memorial Day tournament?
Yeah.
For Berkshire bass. And I was like, something about it was similar color water. Okay. And I was like, I gotta throw something. And I wacky rigged that same exact plastic.
Yeah.
And within like 3 casts, Smalley in the boat. So we took a picture together, a selfie with the Smalley, and she was absolutely having a blast. Now, the way Jay says he found some grass as well, and
I know exactly what you mean, and I'm about to find some grass later.
So we go and we send it, and we're in this one spot. And the way I know that my wife is really comfortable with something is if she falls asleep on it. You know what I mean? When I got the camping gear and I got the cots and I set them up to practice setting them up indoors inside of the tent and shit like that.
Yeah.
And she got on it and took a 90-minute nap with the dog. I'm like, oh, this is great. Okay, perfect. She laid across the back casting deck. My wife's very short. She laid across the back casting deck and took a 2-hour-long nap while I fished this cove.
That's awesome.
Like, in detail. And she's like, I will do this anytime. She goes, in fact, I'm going to sew a cushion that fits across the top because it's the gas tank and and another storage area that I keep like PFDs and things in and all that shit. So she's like, I will just freaking chill right here and do my thing. I was like, there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah,
she had such a good time. It started to rain a little bit and I was like, you know what? I go, why don't we call it? She was, I think her ability to go out on the water is limited to like 3 or 4 hours at a time. Versus I would be out there dawn till dusk.
Yeah, Meg's the same way. Same way.
And I was like, that's no problem. Well, we get back to the house and I'm like, let's go in, we'll have some lunch, we'll chill, we'll do whatever. And then I'm like, later this afternoon, I'm like, I might go and send it again, see if I can check off some boxes. So I did. I went up the shears. I went really up the shears, almost in the New York border. And I fished a body of water that I love to hit up for this tournament specifically because largemouth is tough to come by. Yeah. So what I had done was I put the passenger seat up on the front of the boat because there were just wreck boats everywhere. I've never seen this launch so full. I go and I sit up front and I'm just foot on the trolling motor, weaving around docks and following this one contour line where the deeper water was. And I caught a bunch. I caught rock bass that wouldn't measure. I caught, what else did I catch? Did I catch a yellow perch there? I think I did catch a yellow perch there. No, I take that back. I didn't catch a yellow perch there. No. I did. It was one of these little like followers that I every time I'm over there and I'm throwing like the Bronco blade, I get these little tiny yellow perch that follow it. And one of them actually hooked it. It just sat right in the palm of my hand. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Released it. What did I catch that was worth a point? There was something over there that I had caught. But anyway, I had left this spot just before dark and drove back home. And I was just like, what an amazing, Independence Day. Like just a fantastic day in general. Now, the next day I had been trying to make plans. Like I said, my goal with fishing in the boat, and I am going to be in the boat primarily. So a lot of people have been asking me, they're like, Bobby, what are you going to do about the kayak? Are you going to get rid of the kayak? Are you going to stop fishing in the kayak? Absolutely not. I will not be doing that. I will be using that kayak to fish on my own. But right now, I need to put the time into the boat to kind of really get to know it and everything. Sure. Because it's going to go and get modified, and I might not have it for a little while, and we're going to have to figure all that shit out. So I go and I I head back home, and I'm on the way home. I'm texting a bunch of people,
Mhm.
voice to text. I'm not freaking on the phone while I'm hauling the boat down the highway, and I'm
Yeah.
texting a bunch of folks, and everybody. I was blown away how many people had to work on Friday. I was like, holy shit,
Yeah. Yeah, there's
you
quite
know.
a few. Yeah.
I mean, I did work on Friday as well, so I'm not that amazed, but I worked for 3 hours on Friday night. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It was just one
Sure,
of my
sure, sure.
regular gigs.
Yep.
But saying to everybody, I was like, "Hey, you around? You around on this? Let's go. I'm looking to send it. Let's go ahead and send it." And I talked to Becca, and I
Okay.
was like, "Yeah." I go, "Are you in New England, or where even are you?" That's usually how our conversations start. I'm like, "Where in the world is Fishing with Becca?" You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm around." I said, "You want to go and send it in the boat?" And she's like, "Well, where are you going?" And I was like, "I am flexible." I was like, "I would love to go up the Shears." I was like, "I kind of want to hit the Connecticut River and
Yeah.
experiment there a little bit." I said, "Or I could go out to meet you halfway, and we go to Central Mass."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that." So we went in your neck of the woods
Yep.
and met up there. I launched the boat. She rolled in with Sky, jumped in, and she goes, I don't even have any freshwater gear right now with me. She's like, everything's at my parents' house. She's like, "Is it all right if I use your gear?" I was like, "I'm gonna have one rod in my hand. It's gonna be my BFS combo.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
welcome to all my tackle and everything else." She's like, "All right, cool, let's send it." Dude, you know how awesome it was to go fishing with Becca Yassine and have her throwing stuff from Dark Horse Tackle?
That's
And she
awesome.
loved it, dude.
Yeah.
She's a believer in the Giltech jigs. She's
Okay.
also a believer in the Riot soft plastic, the Tantrum that came
Yeah.
partnered
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah.
that log jam box.
Yeah.
She was catching bluegill. You don't really see those bluegill with the misshapen foreheads. They're so big, they're
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like they're
yeah.
on roids. She caught 4, and they were enormous, bigger than my hands.
Yeah, there's
And
big ones in there.
and I was like, "Holy shit!" And they were biting these jigs. And normally I throw those to avoid getting bit by bluegills.
Right.
And she just absolutely crushed them. I was like, "Holy shit!" We had a great time. We bumped into Jay Manning on the water, which I didn't realize at the time that Jay is also a Lund owner.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a really nice boat. And yeah, so we had ourselves a time. I did catch and enter a tank black crappie over there. Came in
yeah.
at 13 inches.
Yeah.
And I was like, one more inch, and that would have been a pin. I'm like, shit, that's
Yep.
fucking crazy. That's huge. That was cool. I caught a bunch of bluegill as well, but I also caught a good sized yellow perch. So that was 2 points for the day. I'm like, that's amazing. We caught so many smallmouth.
I was just
And
gonna
I-
ask you. I was like, you didn't catch any smallies?
We didn't catch any largemouth at all.
Yeah.
It was all smallies. I was like, really? That never happens for me over there.
Yeah, Jay and I have been talking about that recently.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're kind of taking over there, which is weird because they're
Mhm.
it does get pretty deep in a couple spots, but overall that's not a deep body of water. And
It's
it's
like a
not
big flat. It's like 5 foot,
it's not rocky.
No.
So it's weird. It's I think they came from actually I know they came from somewhere else and they were just kind of
Yeah.
placed in
Some
there,
straight up bucket biologist did that
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But it's funny. So it's funny about this specific body of water. There is a restaurant that's right on there
Mhm.
that has slips that you can just dock your boat and go in and have a few cocktails, some appetizers, which happens to be my wife and I's favorite activity to do together.
Yeah.
And I threw this lake out there. I was like, I don't, it's 4th of July. I don't know if they're open. They were open.
Yep.
And I was like, well, no shit. Do you want to go do this? She's like, no, let's go to Otis like we planned. I said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Next on the radar, though, we're definitely going to go back there and, make dinner or lunch out of it or something like that. Yeah, that was just unbelievably cool. I had such a good time. So that was Friday. We fished until about 12:30 or something. And I had to get back home. And I got back home and there was a package waiting for me
Mhm.
from Omnia Fishing.
Okay.
It was my new moving bait combo.
Awesome.
That St. Croix 7.4 medium heavy moderate fast Bass X rod
Yep.
with that 6-speed Shimano SLX 151.
Yep.
And I set that stuff up on Saturday. Oh my God. So we'll talk about that about when I went out today. So
Yeah.
Friday was great. I go and I work. I had a great time. I told my wife I was not going to go out on Saturday. We were just going to hang out.
Yeah.
She had a nail appointment, and then we had a picnic to go to after her nail appointment. She gets back from her nail appointment and she's like, hey,
It's a little too hot. I don't think I want to go to the picnic.
and I'm like, okay, cool. I say to my youngest daughter, I was like, hey, kid, you want to join me? We'll go to this picnic. It'll be great. She's like, oh, I have a bunch of chores to. Nobody wanted to hang out in the heat. Nobody.
Yeah.
But it was windy. It was nice. Like we were out there,
Yeah.
and once the breeze would pick up, it was okay. I mean, it was
Sure.
hot when it wasn't blowing, but
Yeah, of course.
so I get there. It was cool to see a bunch of my family. I haven't seen some of these folks in a while. Some of them I just saw like a few weeks ago, or when I did that wedding. And we had a good time. And my dad, so this is what he did with those trout.
Okay.
He made a smoked trout dip, right?
Okay.
Smoked the trout on his smoker. He's got this
Yeah.
really nice electric smoker.
Yeah,
Thing is
yeah.
freaking awesome. It's like a Traeger light. It's nuts.
Yeah.
So he sets the fish up there, sets that up. Out of those 3 fish, take a guess at how much meat was on there out of those 3 trout. Remember, 13, 14, 15.
I mean, I would say less, maybe I will say about, for meat though, half a pound.
Oh, it was about a pound.
Oh, pound.
It was
Okay. I was going to say a
over
pound. I was going to say a pound.
I figured it would be like twice that amount. I was like,
oh,
no
yeah,
shit.
no, yeah.
But I'm like, no, I guess it makes sense. So what he did is he smoked the fish and then he added it to a bowl with some cream cheese and some, I think, sour cream and a bunch of different seasonings and stuff. And just put it together in this dish. And then, brought out some crackers with diced onions and sliced pickled jalapenos. Holy fuck balls. It was out of this world.
That's awesome.
Everybody loved it. Like half the thing was gone. My dad's like, I'm gonna go throw that in the fridge right now. He's like, when you leave, take it. Those are your fish. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. My cousin Tom was there. He just came back from Lake Ontario and was talking about what did they do? Something like the group he was with, like within the 2 days, they caught like 20 fish. It was ridiculous. Giant. Once they came back with like chest coolers full of salmon and Lakers. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah. So like we had a good conversation and everything. I came home that night. I had been texting a couple of friends and one of them was Eric Dowd. I've talked about Eric on the show before. Moose. He's one of the first guests that we had, and he's like in the first 3 or 4 episodes of the podcast.
Yep.
And he's the guy that's single-handedly responsible for me picking up a rod again and getting into fishing.
Okay.
So I told him, I was like, bro, I go, look, I can't wait to get you in the boat. Join me on the implication, And he's like, all right, cool. Let's go. Let's send it. Where you going? I was like, I have a bone to pick with Anoda. We're going. So we went today. Yeah. He met me at 6:00.
Yeah.
There is a rod and reel combo down there that I know I'm never getting back. It's okay. But I was like, I'm going to force feed them a bladed jig if it kills me today. I didn't care. I was like, that's what I'm throwing. I'm throwing this combo and I'm throwing. So what I threw was a green pumpkin Picasso shock blade. With what got it done was a Sungill color Crush City freeloader as the trailer. They just something with that lighter body seemed to get it done, like a little bit of chartreuse. Yeah. Eric put on another a shock blade as well. He was throwing all kinds of different stuff. I did catch one dink largemouth. We fished this one spot. We missed a couple of fish. I had a smallie that had come off as it had jumped. Fishing this one spot that I really, really like, and it is near where I lost that rod and where I definitely hit the rock because I found this rock bar that comes out from the bank about a third into and I was like, oh, if you put 10-mile-an-hour winds over that, you can't see shit.
I know exactly. I know exactly where you were.
Yep, exactly, and you can you trim down a little bit too low, and it's just like it's bad news.
Yep.
Made it through with no problem this time. Everything was good. Again, like just being cognizant of the trim, where the prop is in the water, and not being a complete moron. Right. So we fished this one spot, and I'm like, the bite kind of slowed down once the clouds kind of dissipated.
Sure.
And I said, you know what, man, let's go and fish some shadows. And we're thinking docks and overhanging limbs and things
Yeah,
like
of
that.
course.
We go into this one cove and we start fishing over here. I catch one largemouth, but it's on a floating dock deep. And I'm like,
Okay.
all right, okay, that's interesting. This is on a green pumpkin wacky rig. And the next one that I had thrown a bait under and like skip this bait right under, let it fall, couple of twitches, brought it out. And as I was reeling it back out, like 6 bluegill came out from under there. And underneath them was a larger largemouth.
Okay.
And I was like, I wonder what the fuck is going on. So
Hmm.
we fish this entire cove. We get to this point, and I don't get another bite. He doesn't get another bite. We saw a bunch of carp cruising around, like big ones too.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck it, let's go back to that spot, and we'll go further back, tuck further way in the back, and see what we come up with. Water was super dirty over there, and that's when I was like, nope, bladed jig's coming back out.
Oh,
And I had cut off my and I think a lot of it was either from the wreck boats because it's pretty shallow up there, just stirring shit up, or just the wind was really starting to pick up and things may have kind of gotten churned up as well.
Yeah.
So I cut off that wacky and I had thrown on one of the Giltech finesse jigs, and I'm like, well, this will sink a little bit quicker. I'm like, we'll see what can happen. Not a nibble, nothing. Go back to the bladed jig, and that's when we started to light them up. Eric put 1 30-inch pike in the boat, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Good pike. And that was again on the shock blade as well. And then I put in a smallie. I had a follow right to the boat with a good size smallie. And once I saw him, he just darted right off. And I was like, all right, well, let's cast back out that way and see what we can do. And I'm just slow rolling this. And I think that 6-speed reel kind of really helps quite a bit. And also the more moderate action, when I get a bite, it's like I feel like I'm not ripping it away from him so much.
Yeah.
And it worked out so good. I loved it. It was awesome. So today was an amazing day. Wrap that sucker up. Although there were some shenanigans at the boat launch, like a mofucker.
I bet.
So we get back to the ramp, and there's a shortage of parking for boat trailers.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But there is a pontoon boat that is coming out. There is this massive ocean boat like tied off behind the pontoon.
Yeah.
Waiting to go in. There's some dude on a boat called Double Trouble in front of us tied off there. So we go on the outside of the dock just to tie off because I know it's going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
And we tie off, and Eric goes, why don't you go up and grab the truck and then kind of get in line? I get up to the top of the ramp, dude, and there is some fucking Yahoo in a red pickup hauling 2 jet skis having a fucking tantrum, okay? Because
I gotta send these jet skis now, god damn it.
Like, I don't know who was having a baby out in the middle of the water and needed to be delivered there via jet ski, but apparently it was a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
There was one of the dudes, and I think it was the dude with that giant ocean boat. He was like yelling at the guy. He was like, dude, just calm down. Everybody's here to have fun. If you let us pull out, like, you'll have more room. This motherfucker, you know how those parking spots are? It's tricky. If it's full, it's tricky to get your trailer out. You got to be really careful. This motherfucker was in the middle of it. Nobody could pull their vehicle out. So he decided the best thing to do was just fucking reverse right down from there into the fucking down the launch, right down the middle. It's a double lane. He's down the fucking middle like a piece of shit. Puts the boats up there, pulls it up. Some other Yahoo and like a minivan with a fucking like a 14-foot aluminum boat with like a 25 horse on the back decides he's gonna back down, but he can't see shit, so he's zigzagging all the way down here. I'm like, motherfucker, are you kidding me? I didn't know this. Now the thing about Eric is this: I met Eric at one of my accounts 7 or 8 years ago. All right. He works security at one of my accounts. Eric is a guy. If you and I take this show on the road, Joe, I'm hiring Eric as security.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
100%. I have 100% faith. Eric is not somebody I would piss off. This fucking Yahoo who looked like, do you remember Bobby Moynihan from SNL?
I do.
He looks like Bobby Moynihan.
Okay.
If Bobby Moynihan was like,
fuck it, I'm letting myself go.
Right. And I mean, I'm saying this, and I am not petite at all, but Jesus fucking Christ, have some fucking decorum. All right. So the guy is there, and Eric says to him, he's like, hey man, can you grab this rope and we'll go over to the other side because we can launch, because he's taking up all this room. And he goes, what, are you afraid to get wet? And I'm like, the fact that this guy still breathes is a miracle. It is. I was, because I didn't know about this until we were driving away, and Eric told me about it. I was like, oh, holy shit. I wouldn't mouth off like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we get down there, and this one dude that was in line, because like the hill, like to go up back to the main road, had like 4 different vehicles with boats that were going to tow, that were going to drop in. But again, there's nowhere for them to go because of all the craziness. I pull into position and straighten my truck out so I can just back right down once it's clear. I'm waiting for the coast to be clear, and then I can get down there. I've got some Yahoo in a station wagon behind me blocking me because they want to inspect and see if there's parking where the trailers are for a regular car.
Sure.
Fuck you.
You know? So I'm like, I roll down the window and I'm like, fucking just do it. Just commit. Well, I get out of the car and I tell the guy, I was like, listen, I'm gonna zip down here, load my boat, quit. I'll be out of here. He's like, dude, you are the only non-moron here. I'm watching what's going on. And he's like, you're the only fucking person that's doing shit that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'll fucking take that as a compliment. I look
holiday,
at him, I go,
holiday weekends are tough, man.
yeah, it's crazy. I was like, you know how long I've been doing this? 1 week. I've been doing this for a week. That's it. I'm like, I'm the one that should be a fuck up, you know?
Right.
So we grab the boat, we take off, we come home, man. What a fucking amazing day, though. It was absolutely freaking nuts. Am I missing anything? I feel like
speaking boat ramps, let's talk about it real quick. How much of a fucking shit show is that one by my house now?
Oh, dude.
That one's a shit show.
Yeah,
and
that's rough.
That's why that place is like such a good fishery, because no one goes there because it's such a fucking shit show. You gotta fucking pull across the road to back. You're literally, as you're backing in, you're across the road that has a blind spot. And you just hope it's a blind corner that you just hoping people don't smoke you. And I don't know if you noticed, but they have that big sign on the right and the left. That one on the left is new for this year. That actually took up an extra parking spot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's a fucking mess.
The biggest thing you deal with there is people, you know, that time that we sent it with the Hooks at Hoodlums guys up there. The biggest thing you run into is people just parking without boats in there. That's like the number one thing you deal with there. But yeah, dude, that good fishery. But yeah, that place that ramp is a shit show.
It is. It's a train wreck. It was like I went in and I pulled in and I was like, is this a mistake? And there was only one other truck with a trailer in there. I was like, no, I'm good. So I got into a spot, and then I checked with Becca to see what was up. And then I was like, I'm just going to drop this in and then back into this spot and we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Your truck's hanging out in the middle of the road. And I'm like, fuck, I hope nobody's like cruising around that one corner.
Yeah. And then the guy across the street, he put that gate up because he was sick of people it was total dickhead move. Like, you pull into his thing, that dirt road, like 10 feet. He put up that fucking like cattle gate because he didn't want people. Yeah. He put that up like 2 years ago. Yep.
What an absolute douche. It's like, maybe like I'm sure that the lake was there when he moved there and bought the house.
Right.
Like, what the fuck were you even thinking? And there's a boat launch. What a moron.
Yeah.
It was impressive. I forgot how rocky it is. Like, it's obviously marked where to go, but I'm like, holy fuck, this is fucking shallow. When you come up, like, you know, when you go into like the main lake,
you gotta go between. You don't go outside those buoys. That's like the one. I know I said that place isn't very rocky, but right there it is. That's like the one rocky spot. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I had gone. I had my trolling motor going. My outboard was trimmed all the way up. And I was like, oh shit, this is crazy shallow. So I grabbed the trolling motor up and I hit the hat to get us back in to that little channel. And I was like, Jesus, this is something.
Yeah.
Freaking bananas though.
And you gotta watch out. There's a sandbar there that can get you too.
Yep.
By the island.
Yeah. We saw that. We're like, we'll fish this island. And I was like, shit, this is coming up quick. And
yeah.
So Joe, does your trolling motor have reverse? Or do you just have to spin the thing around and hit go?
I just spin it. Yeah, I just spin it.
I do the same thing. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if that was like a feature because
Yeah.
I'm like that. It takes a little bit longer than I'd like it to. You know what
Yeah,
I
it do
mean?
yeah, that I mean, even mine with the I got the 120-pound thrust,
Oh
and,
wow.
yeah, it's either 112 or 120, but, yeah, even if I'm going at a clip and I'm like, "Shit," like, it doesn't stop me quick by
Yeah. Oh
by
yeah.
any
Yeah.
means.
Yeah.
Usually if I'm shallow enough and I got stopped for some reason, it's only happened once or twice, I drop the anchors. I'll just drop the anchors real quick.
Oh
That
yeah.
that
There you go.
that'll stop that'll stop you fucking that'll push you right over the front of the boat
You'll
when those
fucking
things
fall right
dig.
out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
man. You better have a fucking
Yeah.
bar to grab onto or some
It
shit.
so it's funny today, like, when I was out on the spot today, we went out to the river, Jeremiah
Mhm.
and I. He's like, "Let's go," because there's a spot there where there's like, and this might give away where I was at, but whatever. There's an old duck blind like in the middle like of the river,
Yep.
and like fish like to hang out around it. And he's like, "Let's go check that out." And so we did a river run, and it was the water was definitely not as high as that, dude. I'm doing like, I didn't go crazy fast. I was doing maybe like 45, 50, but
Yep.
probably like 5 or 6 times my depth alarm came up while my depth alarm came on as I'm fucking doing that. And my depth alarm comes on at 1.9 feet.
Oh.
So,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. So, and I trick, it's not the first, like, it's sketchy, like, but it's like, and I know that river really well, but I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
this is lower than I thought. And the good thing, that's one waypoint I never fucking delete, because I just follow that fucking line the whole time, and I know
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna be
smart.
good there.
Yep.
But yeah, it got sketchy a couple times, but yeah, well, that was it.
I think this week I'm pulling the trigger on the Minn Kota upgrade for
There you go.
spot lock and everything.
Yeah.
I think this week I'm going to do it. I was going to talk with John about it and everything.
Yeah.
I like the trolling motor. I don't love that I'm not going to have the foot pedal. It'll be just the remote that works it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I won't have the foot pedal. When I do the upgrade, there's no foot pedal operation.
Why not?
It's just the remote.
You can get a foot pedal. No, I mean,
I have it. I have a foot pedal. I don't know.
no. As far as I know, all trolling motors come with a foot pedal.
Oh no, mine does. But when I put the upgrade in, when I change the head, that foot pedal doesn't work.
I
Yeah.
get what. Okay, you're just doing an upgrade to the head. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just doing an upgrade to the head. I'm
Okay,
not,
I got
yeah,
you.
dude.
Well, I'm
like,
sure you could get a pedal that fucking runs that off that head.
I
mean,
would think so.
yeah,
but
because that's the whole point of a trolling motor.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. I mean, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I love the idea of using the remote, because then I can fish anywhere on the boat and make adjustments right there. Because I'm going to put it on
Yeah.
a lanyard and just fucking do what
Yeah.
I got to do. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna fool around and try some shit. Because like we had mentioned before we started recording, I'm a little torn. Do I go advanced GPS or do I go autopilot? Not autopilot, iPilot.
Yeah.
Because there's some that have different sort of features. So I might want to look into that. If it's I don't want to pigeonhole myself to use a specific brand of electronics or anything like that. 'Cause
Yeah,
honestly,
and that's the unfortunate thing is
Yeah.
all of them do that. Every single one of them. The Minn Kotas, you gotta do Humminbird. The Garmin, you obviously gotta do Garmin. The fucking Lowrance, you gotta do Lowrance if you want them to talk like that. But the new Power Pole one, I don't know who the fuck they talk to. I'm actually not sure.
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Oh, but who knows? We'll figure it out. It'll all be good. I considered. I was like, well, maybe I won't do that upgrade. Maybe I should just get a Talon. See a
Oof.
lot of Luns that have a Talon, and those go deep. Like,
Yeah,
some of them go
there's a
pretty
couple
deep.
different ones. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
fuck, what are they? I think like 4, 8, 10 are the options for those fucking things
Something like
for the
that.
Talons.
Yeah,
Talons
some
are
of 'em-
heavy though. Talons are very heavy
Yes.
in
Yeah.
comparison to like a Power Pole or a Raptor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Raptors are Minn Kota, right?
Yeah, the Raptors,
Yep.
what I have on this boat, my next boat, the new one has Power Poles. So it's a little
Oh,
different.
really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, a little
Nice.
different.
Freaking awesome, man. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I would say it's been an amazing week. I feel fantastic about this week. Next week's going to be insane, like
Mhm.
boat mods and things like that. I do have a long time ago when I started using Calendly to schedule guests on the show. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this in the interview or in the intro for the show. This week we have an amazing guest. You guys need to stick around. We have Roy Leva on the show, and Roy is when we talk about folks that are just fishy motherfuckers, that's Roy. Roy is a Shimano Pro staffer. He's been fishing since he could walk. He has fished in various parts of the world for all types of species, fresh and salt. And we have a fantastic conversation. The best part about Roy is that he is local. He's right here in Northampton right now. So I'm planning on getting out on the water and fishing with him. We'll figure it out. We'll see what we can do. We got some info coming out here on talons right here. Biggest Nick is his talons are no good. They're telescopic, and if they bend, they're done.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and I think that's why they go so deep is because they're telescopic, you know?
Yeah.
And then what is it? We've got Nick. Gold St. Nick says kicker better than talon. Okay, all right, figure it up. Michael Bradley chimes in and he says, I've heard talons can have a parasitic draw on your batteries. I would believe that too. I think you should probably have a switch to cut them off as a, just a safety, something like that. I've also made it a habit on my trolling motor to unplug it whenever I'm out of the water. That way it's the plug's right there. So I'm just like, I'll unplug it. It's all good.
Yeah.
Question for you, Joe, before we get into headlines and everything.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I charged my batteries for the first time. I went almost an entire week, and I put my batteries on the charger on Saturday late morning.
Yeah.
And I went to go check on them like later in the afternoon, and they were reading 100%, like on the charger. It was flashing 100%.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh.
Do you know what kind of charger you have in that thing?
It's a Minn Kota.
Okay, so it's Minn Kota power bank.
Yeah.
Three bank charger. You running 3 batteries in there?
No. It's a 2 bank, and there's only one of them that's hooked up because the battery for my motor is in the back.
Okay, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. So it's okay. So it's okay. No, yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, those you're on that boat. Think about it. You don't have any electronics on it.
Exactly. And I was like, it lasted so long, and I was like, we'll charge it up. And I got on the water. I checked on because the one thing about my trolling motor that I like is that there's a battery display. If I push a button, it shows me in quarter increments.
Yeah.
And it got down to like 3/4.
Yeah.
I think halfway through the day today. And I was like, I wonder. And I wonder how this is going to work out. And it was fine all day, but yeah. Interesting, man.
Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, I had to go to originally when I got
lithiums.
The Skeeter, it came with lead acid. I had to go to lithiums because I was just I couldn't even. There's a one point when I put the upgrades on that I couldn't even fucking it would be sketchy if I could get a full day with
bad.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
well, then again, you're running so much for electronics.
I'm running 2 screens on the front. I have the 15-inch on the console. I'm usually running cameras or something, phone chargers, on top of fucking.
I'm running a camera too on that battery.
Yeah. So it's and depending on if I'm using spot lock a lot and shit like that, it's just so much draw. Now I can get. I have the smaller lithiums for my trolling motor on this boat. The next boat, I got the 125s. So I'll be able to go a fucking week with that thing. It'll be great.
That's awesome. I might fool around with that. I might consider actually adding a second battery.
Yeah.
I might just because like for content stuff, I don't want to, although I say that, I actually think for some of the content stuff, it might be better to get like a portable storage unit that I can use in a camp situation for studio stuff, and then also bring on the boat and use that just to charge. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it'll be interesting. I did have a conversation with Matt about inside my 4Runner over one of the wheel walls. I actually have a 110 outlet that's good up to like 400 watts. And I asked him, I was like, if I were to get a short extension cord and plug in that cable and run it to the boat, securing it, so that it could move, obviously when I'm turning, but so that it's not just fucking loose and flapping around. It would have to be probably a custom run. I probably make the cable myself. So it's a perfect size. I go, do you think it's possible I could charge while I'm driving to a spot, like while I'm on the road, if I'm
Yeah.
going cross country? And he was just like, I'd say you just have to try it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And know how it's going to go. So I'm like, okay, all right, that could be interesting. Let's see what
Yeah,
happens.
that'd be weird.
Or my thought was if I were to use something like a Jackery or an Anchor or something along those lines and charge that on the Bimini top, I could put the solar panels.
There you go.
Like it would take like some
I've
setup
been seeing
to
that
do.
a lot lately. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, that could be kind of cool. Because that was one of the features that we used when it did rain on Friday when we were out there. Because Becca, she's like, if it rains, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
I'm gonna melt if it rains. I'm kidding,
Yeah.
Becca. She's like, let's try out the Bimini top. I was like, it's gonna impede the fishing a little bit. You know what's crazy? I was up on the front casting deck, and that's not large. It's not like the casting deck of your boat.
Yeah.
Either of your boats. It's tiny. She came up and was casting right next to me. We had no problem. Granted,
There you go.
I am a disgusting mass of a human being. She is a tiny, tiny little person.
Yeah.
But like still with like 7, I guess I was zipping around a 6 and a 6.5 medium light, but she was throwing around my medium light, the 7.3 with no issues. There was no nobody got hooked. Everything was great. I was like, maybe this is fucking cool. Who knows?
Hell yeah.
So good shit. How we doing? We got headlines this week, don't we?
We have one.
I love that.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
Fucking A. Well, let's do it.
So I have one headline this week, and this one, Bobby, this one hits close to home for you.
Oh,
literally. It's this one. This is one of those ones that I read. It just made me angry. It made me angry because it hit so close to home for us. But you ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right. So this comes from 22 News.
Motherfuckers. My former employers.
Yep. Holyoke sanitary sewer overflow discharged into Connecticut River.
It was bound to happen, man. South Hadley does it all the time. Chicopee does it all the time.
So
it's time for fucking Holyoke to take a dump in the river.
Oh, it's fucked, dude. So officials are advising Holyoke residents to avoid a portion of the Connecticut River after sewage was released due to the rainfall on Saturday. Within the past 4 hours, an estimated, you ready for this number? 726,380 gallons have been released into the river of just shit. The discharge of rainwater, untreated sewage, or partially treated sewage has been discharged into the Connecticut River from the 3 out of the total of 10 combined sewer overflow locations in Holyoke. The public is advised to avoid the water in communities bordering the Connecticut River, South Hadley, and Chicopee. This includes swimming, fishing, and boating for 48 hours after the discharge has stopped due to increased health risks from bacteria and other pollutants. A round of showers. We'll move this talk about the weather coming up, but yeah, it just talks about the weather that was this was on Friday, but
yeah,
dude. So I want to talk about this for a second.
Yeah,
how are people not being held accountable for this? I mean, if God forbid, I never would do it, but if some fucking Joe Schmo is down fishing the Connecticut River, he fucking throws his beer can into the fucking river, it's like a $500 fine. But the city of fucking Holyoke can dump almost 1 million gallons of shit water in there.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, please tell, like, oh, because of the rain, get the fuck out of here. Like you don't have some kind of fail safe or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't dump into, probably one of the most fruitful water bodies in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
it's
not like this isn't new. This is new. Like this, like I said, this has happened, I think the last 2 years in a row, maybe even 3. Yeah. South Hadley has had this same thing happen. Yeah. And it's always the rain. Like, oh, so much rain and blah, 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 blah. And it caused, overflow. And you're like, there's got to be something.
Let's fucking fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, it's going to rain. maybe we should. It's gonna rain. It's Massachusetts. It's gonna rain a lot in certain times of the year.
Yeah.
We don't want to keep flushing our fucking toilet, our giant toilet, into the Connecticut River. With it, I'm sure those people protecting those sturgeon are wicked happy about this.
Oh my God. Could
you know what I
imagine?
mean? Like it's fucking it is the dumbest thing. Like
They're on that log pattern. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, dude. So now I'm gonna take a big piece of dog shit, put it on a hook, and see what I get.
There
Right
you
there
go.
in the
Get a
Connecticut River.
giant fucking catfish. John Higgins makes a good point. He goes, they quietly pay fines and just keep it pushing. And that's probably what it is. Like they're probably
sure.
being fined for it, but nobody's saying anything because they're like, yeah, we're fucking at fault. We fucked up or something.
Because you
And
know
Team
why?
Behan- What's that?
It's probably a fucking fine that they don't notice, care, anything.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's probably to them, it's like, fuck it. It's gonna cost us $2 million to
Yep.
do this upgrade, but it's only $1,000 fine. So we'll just keep paying the fucking fine because it'll be cheaper.
Like, oh my God. Every time I go over 391, the water treatment plant is right there, right next to
Yeah.
the fucking, and dude, it fucking smells like straight up asshole. When
Yeah,
you go by
I hit
there.
the
I can
one.
remember from a little kid. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's the same one, the one that sits right next to the pike there. And I don't know, even know
yeah.
what I think it's Chicopee. That one always smells like shit going over the fucking pike, over the river. But hey, here's another thing. Don't put them right next to the fucking river.
Well, I think that they need the water supply coming in order to do what they're
Okay,
gonna
yeah,
do.
I'm sure.
So,
but fuck,
but
still.
it's like there's got to be some way that they can plan for, because it's like this isn't like the first time there have been like significant rains that have come down. Like you know, and let's be honest, some of these rains that we've had recently have been what, maybe a half inch at a time.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like, I don't know.
I guess it's the do as I say, not as I do mentality, which always has pissed, especially me being in the fucking military the last 22 years. That's something that fucking just irks the shit out of me. So it's like, hey, keep our waters clean. We're the only ones that can pump shit into it.
That's exactly it. Nick says Montreal a few years back sent all their shit into the St. Lawrence for weeks while they were retrofitting the plant. And that's the thing. Like, I mean, when they're doing maintenance and things like that, like I get it. Like, what can they do? Are they gonna? Is there a guy with fucking buckets? Like, I'm trying to manage
all the shit. There's just too much shit for me to manage. God damn.
This fucking plunger ain't big enough.
Yeah, ships in the ocean can dump all they want if they're X distance from shore. That's fucking insane. That is fucking insane. Like it absolutely is.
So
lots of people connect their sump pumps to the sewer. See it all the time. Yep.
I like Nick's comment here about the ships in the ocean, dude. Have you ever been on a cruise, Bobby?
Oh yeah.
So you've been on a cruise.
Mm-hmm.
So you're sitting there, like one thing you do, you sit on the railing, you just look out into the ocean. Can't see anything, except for one thing: all the fucking trash that's in the ocean.
Oh yeah,
it's unbelievable how much trash you see in the middle of fucking nowhere on the ocean.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy, man. It's like,
yeah,
it's absolutely fucking disgusting, and it takes fucking turtles to make people fucking actually get fired up about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's fucking insane. Carnival is notorious for dumping illegally.
Well, that's like the Spirit Airlines of fucking cruises, I hear. So
these days, for sure. I mean, come on. John Hagan says we have the same issue with Green Lawn Dam in Columbus. It has a sewer line embedded in with an overflow below the dam. They've corrected it for the most part, but you can still smell the shit.
Just wild to me.
It's fucking insane. You know, it's like, and I mean, there's a part of me that's like,
it's shit.
There's fish shit in there. There's beaver shit. There's muskrat shit. There's shit. Like shit is life. You know what I mean?
Everybody shits.
But when it's an entire fucking city's volume of shit getting poured out at one time, that's a different animal. It's a little bit different if the city of fucking Holyoke decides to unload into the river versus I decide to pinch a fucking loaf off the side of my Lund because I had a fucking breakfast
Oh,
taco.
you would
that's not-
be, dude. You'd be in
They'd
fucking
arrest
prison.
me in a second. They'd be,
How dare you, you
Yeah.
fat
Yep.
fuck?
Yep.
They
It-
look at me and
it's
they're like, "Hey, big man, you blow that motherfucker up." And I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Well, I don't want everybody in this Chili's to know, but I mean,
Yeah,
I did, but
Yep.
fuck."
Crazy. So yeah, that was the one story I had this week. I saw it and I was like, we have to talk about this because it pisses me off because, like I said, the first thing I saw was like, do as I say, not as I do. And I
Yep.
was like, whatever. Thanks for putting all that fucking Hep C, Hep A, Hep B, fucking whatever the hell else you put in that fucking people shit water. Fucking
Oh yeah. Fucking Nick says, how about watching used tampons floating by? Not supposed to flush those to begin with. Nick, they're not necessarily flushing them. Sometimes they're just whipping them right out the car window because they're in a hurry. You know what I mean? And when you're over a bridge, you're over a bridge. Choices were made, mistakes were made.
I figured out. So my dad, grew up as a plumber. He growing up, he owned a franchise of Roto-Rooter. So as a kid, I would fucking go with him as him or the guys fucking cleaning drains or whatever. And that was my first experience with a tampon. I was like, what the fuck is that thing? Fucking 11 years old or whatever.
You're poking at it like it's a fucking balloon. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's fucked, dude. That is fucked. Before we take a quick break, guys, and go back, segment number 2 is going to be great. We got an amazing FTG. I hope you guys stick around and check that out because this is a hot fucking topic to talk about. But we also have some Just the Tip stuff and Gear of the Week as well. But before we go to break and return with all that good stuff, I do want to let you guys know that I did record an episode of the Catch podcast with Matt and Brad, and we had a great time. So be on the lookout. I'm not 100% sure on when that's going to drop, if it's going to be this coming week or the week after or when, but check out the Catch, and thanks to them for having me on, man. They're absolutely freaking awesome. And I feel like it's a tribute to them when I say the following: do not go too far, nerds and virgins. We have more jigs and bigs coming up right after this. Fucking nerds and virgins. Never seen a red and white lure. Now you Oh, it's fucking great. It's fucking, we'll just bang it right out. Let's just keep on going.
Let's go.
We'll go Just the Tip next. And then FTG. Where's the fucking FTG Open is right there. And then Bait of the Week, that's also right here.
And we're doing my
week.
My tip, my Just the Tip, or do you have
Yep.
one?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Right.
The one that what were you about your drag?
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
Yep.
All right, we are rolling. Let's go ahead and do it. 3, 2.
Perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip, just for a second, just to see how it feels. Or ouch, ouch, you're on my hip.
It is time. We got tips. I mean, tips over here, tips over there. It's just a fucking tip party.
Just the tip.
But there's great stuff that you guys need to know about and you're going to want to know about. So, Joe, take it away and educate a little bit.
I'm going to educate a little bit because I fuck this up constantly because I'm so forgetful and I get so excited just to throw my line out there. So maybe not everybody does this, but a lot of, I'm constantly adjusting my drags for whatever reason, because I'm putting rods away in the boat and I need to like stretch out some line and I'll just loosen it, whatever. I do that quite often. And then you know what I do? I forget to fucking adjust it when I throw it. Yeah. So it has happened to me a few times. I have lost fish because of this. I probably came close to losing that PB because of it. And you guys got to see it on video
Yeah.
on, go check it out. American Vet Fishing on Instagram and TikTok. You will actually see me go full stupid. And not only did I forget to adjust my drag before I started throwing my lure, I completely forgot how I was like so like amped up in the moment. I forgot how to set my drag, and you'll see it in there.
Yeah.
It's funny. It kind of I actually wanted to cut it out of the video. I'll be 100% honest, but I was like, nope. I was like, because I was just in the heat of the moment, and like my brain just was not working. And I do this constantly, and it just goes to show like I just got dumb brain for a second there, but make sure either before you start. Oh, and then it happened to me again today with my son. He had my rod and it was not adjusted, and he came close to losing that 3-pounder today. And I was telling Bobby, it was kind of, I was telling him, I was like, cause I'm really trying not to give him, not that I don't want to give him advice, but I'm trying to make it like when he catches a fish, it's his show. Like it's your fish, you do it.
Yeah.
I was saying like, hey dude, you gotta loosen the drag. Yeah. But again, he is so fucking laser focused on this fish, whether he doesn't hear me or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was no drag. I mean, it was so fucking tight. And yeah, so that thing actually broke off right as he boat flipped it in, which I love the fact I have him boat flipping. But
That's awesome.
yeah, so make sure I know just put it in your back of your brain as a self reminder is make sure your drag's set to where you want it to for your day of fishing. Because again, I have that. I don't say it's a bad habit. It's just my habit of adjusting my drag because I need to adjust like length for whatever reason. I just need to remember to adjust it. Take that extra second and make sure it's where I need it to be. Once I go out and fishing. So I don't want to lose fish because of it. I don't want you guys to lose fish because of it.
For sure.
It's just a, quick little thing, quick little tidbit of information to make sure you double check before you go out there. And especially in like the boat with like the bait casting star knob or whatever, just like, it can get adjusted like accidentally just being in with a bunch of rods. I have 40 rods in my rod locker. So if I pull one out, who's to say that the handle didn't fucking adjust the drag and I didn't notice it or something like that.
It's true. Yeah.
So yeah, check your drag, guys. Check your drag. Don't look like an idiot like I do right now on social media, but I wanted to keep it out there because I deserved it, because I was an idiot. And you can literally hear the monofilament screaming like, loosen me up, please. You can actually hear it. Bobby can attest to it. It's fucking funny.
I'll bet you. I'm willing to bet that the fact that you were throwing mono saved that fish.
100% save that fish.
100%. Yeah, because if you were throwing braid and 100%, like, granted, braid is crazy strong.
Yeah.
But it can you can snap it. You can, especially the lighter stuff. Michael Bradley comments in here and goes, the only time I loosen my drag is at the end of the season. I think with most people that I fish with, they just crank that drag down and they just leave it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't really hear a lot of people playing with their drag much when it comes to their bait caster setups. But I'll tell you what, your drag on your bait caster can be a great tool too. If you're fishing a combo where maybe you're throwing a presentation and you're getting some short strikes or something like that, or maybe not short strikes. Maybe that's not going to do it, but where it's a situation where like you need something that's has a little bit more give, loosen up that drag a little bit. And that might be the give that you need, you know, and, like you're throwing braid versus.
Yeah. And I'm the same way. I typically have no reason to really adjust I do it. Yep. I do loosen up my drag because if I'm going to put a rod away and I go put a rod away, I didn't give myself enough line to fucking put it on the hook keeper. I loosen it and I pull it out. So for whatever reason, but this one was actually pretty tight, and I don't fuck with my bait casting setups very often. I'm like in the middle of fishing. It was just this one was screaming. I was like, I have to adjust this now.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
That's only happened to me with a bait cast setup a couple times, and it was this fish, and it was 2 pike I fought.
No
And
shit.
I think
Oh,
I
no
think that
shit. Okay.
I think that's really the only time where, and this isn't counting the BFS. The BFS I've had to
Yeah,
adjust.
BFS is a whole
Yep.
other thing because you want that drag to be
Yep.
set more like a spinning combo.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. So yeah, so I had to set it because you
Yeah.
know, again, go check out the video and listen at that moment, and you will hear that monofilament screaming. And it's only, I mean, and she brought me into the, I mean, you see when I rip her out, like she's got grass tangles. I was in the grass with her too.
Yeah.
But yeah, go check it out. Watch me be a donkey right there on social, right there in the video. And yeah, just double check your drag, ladies, gentlemen, dudes, and dudettes.
That's a very, very smart tip. Now, are you ready? I can't wait for this. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to go ahead and start out by saying the fuck this guy for this week is Matt Webster. Matt Webster is a Tennessee resident who was recently caught on camera at essentially being a quote drunk Karen that broke a young angler's rod when trying to remove them from private property. This guy he's a member of, I'm not sure what the name of the church is, but there is a ministry that he works with or heads up that is a Haiti, what is it? A Haitian ministry or something like that.
Yeah,
and
like relief effort or something.
Yeah, like a Haitian relief or something like that. And so this is a guy who kind of holds himself in a high level of being somehow, I guess, a good person.
Yeah.
And this video that we see of him, and I shared this on the Jigs and Bigs Instagram yesterday. It was originally posted by that Danish guy. And his Instagram is mwebster13, which it was promptly deleted after this went on, of course.
Yeah.
And the comments in the original post are insane. I posted it basically saying, we're going to talk about this type of shit on the show. Who was wrong and for what reasons? Feel free to comment your thoughts. Might mention some on the show. I'm going to mention a bunch of them, actually, because I have my own opinions and I did a little bit of research to figure this stuff out. But Matt, for the reason why we're putting this here and not in Hot Topics is because at the end of the day, Matt Webster is a piece of shit. He's an asshole. And he is an asshole who hides under a guise that he is a decent human being, and he is a fucking asshole. So these kids, here's the breakdown. And I'm going to give you guys the research that we did. These kids were fishing on private property, okay, with the help of one of our jig heads, John Hagens. We tracked down the body of water and the property lines that go right into the water. They're divided. There's actually one element of this lake where if you were fishing from the woods, you probably would be okay. But accessing that is probably impossible. So you're shit out of luck. But from the video, you can see that there are houses in the background. There's backyards that are behind them. Yes, they were trespassing. Don't trespass, guys. Don't. Like, this is why you could deal with absolute douche nozzles. This guy goes and basically approaches these kids, and the video only shows so much. The first thing it shows him angrily stomping over this one kid, grabbing the rod out of his hands and breaking it over his knee. Yeah. The other kid that's recording this, he has the camera right in his face, and the guy is like, oh, he's like, the kid is saying to him, we're not going to leave right now. We are, we're not going to leave right now. We are waiting for the police, we'll let them handle it. And what the thing is that this guy chose to be all of the elements of the equation that he shouldn't have been. The enforcer of the law, the everything, even when the authorities were on their way, which is just bullshit. Breaking, people's equipment, even just touching somebody else's equipment is not kosher. Like, that's just fucked up. You're asking for trouble if you do something like that. So let's go through the comments and see what we got. I'm going to go ahead and look at newest comments. A bunch of people are going to say, a lot of the same thing, like, oh, I would have fucking, he would have been swimming or such and such, or the other one that a lot of folks will say was like, why not just let the kids play? It's too late. It's too late for that. Like, it's not about letting the kids fish or like, it's private property. He's the property owner. If he called the cops, like that's what it was. These kids were in the wrong. Now, what I think probably happened is that if the cops probably showed up, and after seeing this guy, Matt Webster, the trespassing was probably second. If they even bothered to look at it, it was probably the secondary issue.
Yeah.
Was the trespassing. But like, so that's one thing you can do is avoid trespassing, like do your diligence to make sure that you're on public property when you're fishing, or get permission from somebody. That's key. If you have permission from somebody, fantastic. I didn't even think about that. If these kids had permission, they should have fucking led with that. You know what I mean? But they were waiting for the cops. So there's a lot of people who say this. Somebody commented, they're like, to be completely fair to the old man, he didn't choose to grow up in a world where everyone was covered in lead paint, which I thought was pretty good. A lot of people, I would start throwing hands. FTG is the old dude. That's actually Brad Hicks from The Catch who commented that one. Start sending these old dudes to the ER. It only takes 2 to 3 years of constant beatings. People will start missing their own business. Former boss of mine. Oh, this is something else. Former boss of mine, he was very entitled and two-faced in his dealings with people. We lived in a small town, and he acted like he was local royalty. Everyone I have talked with that worked with us that is just Matt showing his true colors. It was an absolute disgusting display. He should be ashamed of himself. I agree. That was from not even one of our followers. Holland R300 was that user that left that comment. And I agree 100%. Like this guy is showing his true colors. I mean, that's why someone commented, that's why you keep a knife on you. I was harassed and I thought that I was going to come to an assault. I almost pulled mine on the guy. He walked away though, so I didn't have to. Again, like you're only making the situation worse for everybody. Like, especially if the cops are on their way, let them show up. Let them see what kind of train wreck is going on, fishing is a lot of people comment here. Yeah, fishing a pond is the worst thing a couple teenage kids could be doing. It's too late at that point. You know what I mean? Like this guy already did fucking his shit. I mean, he's a piece of shit. Fuck that guy. That's the point.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Joe, you go ahead and weigh in. I'm gonna find a couple of comments here that really stick out to me.
So only because sometimes I like playing devil's advocate.
Yep. No, fair enough.
So, and yes, the way that guy, what I saw in that video, the way that guy acted was inappropriate. Like, I'm going to be honest, I own a good chunk of land. And if I have people on my land that I don't want on there and they tell me they're not going to leave, I'm going to get a little fucking aggravated. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And you know what I mean? So I get that portion, the whole like grabbing the rod, breaking it, not the right thing to do. But here's the other thing. And we see a lot. And I'm not saying this is even the case, but who the fuck knows what was said or what was done by these kids recording before the edit of the video.
That's the thing. Yeah. Cause there's this is all we're seeing is just this one slice.
Yeah.
It says in the video that it's part 1 and I haven't been able to find part 2. Yeah, I don't know where that is.
Who the fuck knows what happened the moments leading up to the altercation? I mean, they could have been fucking calling the dude's wife fat or something. You know what I mean? They could have been,
exactly.
You know what they could have been throwing out all kinds of shit, but just antagonizing the guy to be amped up. And so, but from what I saw, yes, that's he took it a little too far. But I get his frustration because being a person that owns a chunk of land that I take pride in, that I purposely don't want other people performing any type of activities through it. And if I have someone on my land that I pay for, that I pay taxes for, because we're in the fucking great country of America, I'm gonna be aggravated.
Yeah.
I can't. And the funny thing is, like, you and I have talked about this a million times. I'm like a pretty humble, easygoing guy. But the problem is I only have 0 and I have 100. Like, I have no in between. So it's like, who the fuck knows if I was in the same. I can't say if I was that guy, I wouldn't have done the same thing if like they were like throwing shit, like saying shit at me or whatever. But hindsight being 2020. That was not the right thing to do. If the police were on the way, let the police handle it, especially this day and age. This is not, the not 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s anymore. Everyone's got a fucking camera. Everyone's going to record it. And guess what? They're gonna edit it to make you look like the asshole, even if you weren't the one antagonizing. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. And when you're in a position where it sounds like this guy had some shit to lose, being the head of this ministry, being so involved with the church and just all this other shit, like you might want to put your best face forward. We had a comment that came on here, Big Bass Girl. She goes, if he was in the right, why didn't he just leave it up to the cops to remove the kids? And I responded to that. I was like, bingo, exactly this. I go, I have a feeling that the kids knew they were fishing public water, and that's why they were so cool, knowing that the cops were on their way and this guy would be held accountable, or at least that's how I hope it played out. As it would turn out, that was not the way it would work out, because it is private water. With thanks to John, we were able to figure out that yes, it is private property. Again, like
I guess my question, Bobby, is, and it could because of what Nick just said here. Having rural land posted no trespass is different than a neighborhood pond, though. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I guess, and again, like, I get, because I also was only seeing the TikTok versions of it, so they probably weren't as long as even the ones you watch, Bobby.
For sure.
So were they on? I know it was HOA, and I'm going to be the first person to say that I think HOAs are the biggest fucking sham.
Oh, they're the worst. Yep. 100%.
And so, like, is this like a quote unquote HOA pond, or are they actually on his physical property? Because that's going to change. That's going to change my thought.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm going to actually show you the fucking map. Because John has a little method, and John, I hope it's okay. I'm going to share your method of how this all works. But, oh no, that's not the right body of water. Where is it? Right here. Okay. So what John uses to check this out, this is the pond in general. Okay. And you see those lines there? That's from Zillow.
Okay. Yeah. Zillow and Onyx do really well with that shit. Zillow does really well with it. It's pretty new for them too.
Yeah, and Zillow will lay out all of the property, and you can see that pretty much every single house that goes around there extends into the water, except for, like, I don't know if that's an island. I think that's a little island or a hump.
Yeah.
That's out there, and then that line where the trees are to the bottom,
I guarantee it's a fountain in the middle. They always put fucking fountains in those HOA
That's probably
bonds.
it. And it very well could be that this is private property, but looking at what you see in the video, you see backyards behind them. So like they were absolutely like, so it makes sense. And I'm like, we've had this conversation more with Sean the Fisherman, and Sean the Fisherman is a guy who he comes to it with a little bit more heat than most other people do, because
he is that
owns
person.
Property on waterfront property, and you pay a premium for it. I understand that you don't want people on your property fucking around. It's like, sure, that's fucking insurance. There are some people who are just like, that's what we have insurance for. That's what we have this. But I think the reality, what it is that a lot of these folks that lose their fucking minds, like they're overstepping the boundary. Like, all you have to do is call the cops. That's all you have to do. You don't even have to go outside. In fact, it might be better for you to not go outside to avoid a situation like this. And from what that comment said about a previous coworker or a previous, knowing this individual, like, it sounds like this is just a fucking hothead moron who just flips out at the drop of a hat, like, no matter what. So it probably would have been better for him to not go outside. Just call the cops and let them fucking do what they're going to do. You know what I mean?
And it's crazy because, like, even seeing that's the first time I've seen that, and I'm glad I saw that. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of makes it worse because no matter where they were, they're legit in someone's backyard. Like,
Yeah,
there's
totally.
no way that these kids were like, "Oh no, this should be totally fucking fine."
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, there's it's everyone's wrong. I don't think I think everyone's wrong in this fucking situation. Yeah, we could talk about it for fucking hours and really, like, yeah, but he did
So-
not handle it the right way. Those kids never should have fucking been there in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And sure, they were in the wrong, but you know what would have most likely happened? Hey, kids, you can't be here. Move it on out. And
Yeah, get the
nothing would have
fuck
been-
out of my yard.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been an issue. And then the guy would have been like, yeah, I'm fucking awesome. Look at that. And then that would have been the end of the story. But instead, he went and fucking increased the whole situation.
Yeah.
They're recording. They make him look like a fucking idiot.
Yep.
Who knows? They might even know this guy and know that, like, oh, he's losing his mind. Fuck him. This is going to bite him in the ass.
Yep.
Paul Heels, the Jabberhammer, chimed in. He goes, last I saw, the kids were fine being there per law enforcement. And I said to him, I was like, I'd love to get the entire story. This is before I talked to John and we had done some sleuthing. And then I followed up. I was like, Paul, after some internet sleuthing and a whole lot of help from John Hagens, I said, we're able to determine the pond and the property lines. And yes, those kids were on private property. Doesn't excuse Matt's disgusting behavior and overreaction one bit. And ultimately, he is still the villain here. But I do have a hunch that the PD overlooked the trespassing on this one for sure. Because what Matt did was destruction of private property, not trespassing, destruction of private property, and I mean, I don't know, like the kids in the video were like, oh, it's assault. I don't know that anybody's going to be able to get them for assault. I really don't.
No.
But it is destruction of private property. You probably could get a brand new rod from them.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure he's going to buy one for him just to kind of hush up the situation. But, it's just a shitty situation that never should have happened. And, like,
for sure,
there's so many different roads you can go down with this, because it's like, it's like these kids are out there. I wish my fucking oldest was just out there fishing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Instead of fucking rotting his brain on fucking behind the TV and shit. So I like seeing that. And
I agree.
But as an angler, no matter what age, you have to do the proper research to ensure that you're not getting yourself into a precarious situation.
That's the whole thing. You can run into some shit. Fire Turtle 75 commented to my reply to Paul, says, Jigs and Bigs, someone who reacts like this to some teenagers fishing in a private community pond certainly doesn't care about people in Haiti either. Wouldn't surprise me one bit if that charity was a front for funding their nice HOA home and lifestyle. I respond and I said, couldn't agree more. I said, he's funneling funds into some offshore accounts for sure. I don't doubt that for a second.
No, I'll be the first.
I'm just going to say, calling a teenager like, hey, you're out here and swearing up and down and calling him a dick isn't very church-like. Fuck you. You know what I mean?
I agree. And dude, and this is totally going down the rabbit hole. I know from experience how many fucking of these people that are such shitty people that hide behind the church and like funnel fucking money through the church and shit. They're like, ooh, I'm a person of God. You and I know one, Bobby, that we're not going to talk about here, but
for sure we do. We do.
Yeah. And it's fucking wild to me. So it's like, fuck that guy. In the end, he's fuck that guy. And for
fucking AJ. Nick, I agree. Is somebody in the original post commented, they're like, oh, they're helping Haiti? Hang on.
Look at all the progress they've made in Haiti.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Shit.
Like, dude, obviously this is horse shit. You're a piece of shit. Like, it just blows my mind.
If for some reason those teenagers, if you guys are listening right now, here's my message to you. Keep doing what you're doing, getting in the outdoors, going fishing. But try not to get yourself into those situations. Do your research first, especially with HOAs, because they're like a fucking cult.
They are.
HOAs are like a cult. And so you need to be careful. And next time, get yourself off the property and then call the police. And then if you were right, then you can go back on the property. But
Yep.
be the better person and separate yourself from the situation.
It sucks, but there is a process. You know, you got to see the biggest. That guy at the boat ramp that I was losing my mind with, yelling with back and forth. Again, like I was like, I wish I hadn't fucking lost my mind. I could fucking just keep him there until the cop showed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just, oh God, that would have been great. Pat says, he goes, when I was a kid, you'd meet people and try to know them and get permission to be on their property. Some were just dicks and they'd tell you it was a no-go, but at least you had respect for them, you know, and that's all you can do. Like if it is somebody's property, then cool. You say, hey, you know, go. But nobody, I just want to say, like, Jigs and Bigs, we might joke about trespassing and fucking jumping fences and shit like that. It's never a great idea because you put yourself in some situations. Dude, there are areas around here where if you are cutting, now it's not fishing, but if you're hiking, there are some small ass fucking towns with some operations going on that if you cross a fence, you're getting your ass shot. It's not going to be yelled at. It's not, you're not going to have your rod broken. You're going to get fucking killed. Like, it's, you just got to pick your battles. You know, just do it. And the beauty of it is, like, generally speaking, if there's a public boat launch, everybody can go fuck themselves. You know what I mean? 100%. Generally speaking,
100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah. God, that is fucking bananas. But yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, I got to reshare this. And yeah, last night it was just notification after notification. Everybody had an opinion. And thank you to everybody who chimed in. But Matt Webster.
Fuck that guy.
He's a piece of shit. Fuck him. Fuck him. We got to talk gear.
Okay, gearheads, it's time to talk tools. Jigs and Bigs gear of the week.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, so coming from a not a popper guy, which was me, dude, so so we're talking the Megabass Pop X, okay? This is something I grabbed from Spence over Berkshire Bassin at the, I believe it was the Springfield show when we were there. I usually always grab, because I like Megabass shit mostly. And I saw these. I'm like, I'm not a popper guy. I was like, it's because there's something I try to open my mind to every year, like a form of fishing or a type of bait or whatever. And I had it here, and I'm like, I'm going to throw this on. I'm going to try it. Like, it's a little bit different. And I threw it on my fucking setup. And it's actually, I don't know if you noticed in the video, but it was actually on my Megabass Levante as well.
It was on the Levante. Ooh, matchy.
Yeah, it was. So I'm going to try to do Present Bobby. I'm going to try to figure this out.
Yeah.
I'm going to share the screen here. Okay. So share screen. Here we go. Boom.
There we go. Booyah.
So that is actually the same exact color. It's called like Regari or something like that. That's the pop, right? So they don't show it here, but it actually has, think of like a fucking Ferrari. So where they have like the air ducts, the like active air ducts, or not active, but the I guess useful air ducts.
The intake.
Yeah. So this actually has that in the nose. So this ain't, and the gills is actually where the water comes out. I wish I had grabbed one. They're in the, I have a couple of them. They're both in the boat. But yeah, so it just, and you know what the cool part about it, and I'm sure that those water like intakes or outtakes, whatever, have something to do with it. But this thing walks like a fucking, like a standard like walking bait as it's popping.
Really?
Which is awesome. And that's why I was like, oh, I like this. I actually like, because I love walking baits. And and so that's what I got my PB on. It's and it's a monster bass, so it's a well-made, high quality product. I'm gonna tell you right.
I'm gonna go ahead, keep talking, Joe. I'm gonna do a screen share over here. I got a really good picture, and I want to zoom in on it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, yep. So like I said, I was never a popper guy, and I just something told me up in my little tiny brain of mine, like, throw this on, give it a shot. And
Yep.
I threw it on there. It comes in quite a few different colors. This just so happened I liked it because it essentially looks like a little bass. I was like, I'm gonna give this a shot. And okay, yeah, you can zoom. So there you go. So you see those right there?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
I have to get one of these.
Dude, so they are expensive. They are expensive.
They are expensive, but they float. Keep that in mind.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. Oh, dude.
Yeah, Bobby, you got to get one. You got to get one. That's a cool color, like kind of like a perch color. Yeah, or a bluegill. But
as is that one. Fuck.
Yeah. Dude. So, and you know what? You're closer than me, so maybe take a ride and see Spence. See, he fucking carries these things. He's a Mega Bass dealer.
He does.
Yeah, so that's what I always get every year. Every year I get a couple things from him at the shows, and
damn,
yeah,
it's awesome looking.
It's an awesome bait, well made. I mean, and just the fact that I caught a bait that I'm like, oh, I don't really like. I'm not into them.
Yeah.
The first day fucking throwing it, I catch my PB on it.
Yep.
Like, are you kidding me right now?
That's fucking amazing. I can only imagine that must bubble like a son of a bitch.
Oh, dude, it's wild. It's cool. And if the cool thing is about it is because it has such an awesome walking motion as well.
Yep.
If you want to slow it down and quiet it down, you can, and it won't do the bloop. Like if you're blooping and you see something coming at it, but it just doesn't want to commit or something, you can slow that thing down and just kind of give it those like soft twitches and just kind of walk it a little bit. It's a cool bait. I am a believer, obviously, of this bait.
Yep.
I again, it's like you said, it floats. They're expensive. They're $20, Bobby, I think.
Yeah, $19.99 on Omnia. So, I'm not sure what
so
Berkshire Bass's price is, but $19.99 on Omnia. And if you're doing your first purchase there, remember to check the notes of this podcast, and you can save 15% off your first purchase at Omnia.
Yep, there you go. So, hopefully, unless Mega Bass is one of those ones where you can't do a discount
on that one, they can.
Oh, perfect. It's even better.
I believe on the first purchase, that one they can.
Okay, that's awesome. Because I know Mega Bass and Shimano, they like do that. They're like, no discounts.
Sure. I think on that one they can.
I highly recommend you guys get your hands on at least one of these and try it out. If you don't like it, call me a liar, but I just caught a 6-pound, 10-ounce fish on this the other day, and it was amazing.
So
it was amazing.
Let's talk fishing a popper.
Yep.
Because when you were telling your story about your week, like I got popper vibes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's still water, and you were casting to isolated cover,
Exactly. Yep. And so I was,
dude, yes, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. So I knew this was this spot was all grass, very shallow. She was sitting, Bobby, in about 1.5 feet of water.
No shit.
Yep, she was sitting about 1.5 feet of water, if that. I was reading 1.4 or 1.6 on my graphs, where I was. So it could have been less than that.
Yeah.
But I know it's full of grass, and it was basically in between. There's probably about 50 feet of gap between two lily pad beds, like very large ones.
Yep.
Yeah. So So I was just running those because what I will say throughout that day, it makes sense why this works, because these fish with that overcast, these fish were out hunting. They were hunting, they were eating.
Yeah.
They weren't hanging out in the pads, because I did because I was like, oh, I got this crazy fish on a popper. Now I'm going to throw the frog. I didn't get one blow up on the frog. Not one. Not one. So they were out hunting, and dude, I was like, and finally when I stopped throwing the frog, it's when and again, the video will be on YouTube here probably this week. But open water, I was throwing in open water, like 5 feet of water, and they were fucking smashing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just like they were just out hunting. There was a ton of bait fish blowing up the top, and I every time I saw that, I would throw near the air and I fucking get hit. It was just, dude, it was just, the conditions were just perfect and the bait was perfect. I mean, I caught one on it again today.
No shit. What was the rod that I know you said it was a Levante, but what was the length, the action, the power, all that stuff?
Yeah, so that rod I believe is a 7-1.
Oh, all right.
I believe it's a 7-1 medium. It's a medium heavy. It's either 7-1 or 7-3. Medium heavy. I had it on it, dude. I'll be 100% honest. I had no intention on this being like a top water rod.
Bait. Yeah,
it was just kind of I have this rod open, I'll throw it on this.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I knew I had mono on this reel.
So that's a
So
huge part of it.
you know, thank God I had that. I think it's either 12 or 15 pound mono on there, but the reel is garbage. I hate the reel it's on though, but so I just threw it on there and I stuck her pretty good with it, you know.
That popper has one thing that I love in a popper, and that's a dressed rear treble hook.
Yes.
I think that's a huge deal, especially when you get something like shimmery fabric in there. And Steve Hack leaves a comment here, goes, poppers are so effective even if you aren't walking them. Just a bloop, let it sit, bloop again. The other thing about poppers, when you really get into them and get fucking nerdy with them, is like there's that bloop, that pop with there's bubble and everything. And that's great. That's good and loud. But if that's when you just like a quick twitch, if you drag that rod tip as you twitch and drag it a little further, you can get them to spit. And that's a whole other kind of action. And sometimes they want one versus the other. I've had, it depends, you know, what the situation is. Like I love to throw a popper right up, and I use a shorter rod for it so I can be really accurate with it. Cause you got 6 hook points going. Like, I don't want to throw it near a laydown and be like, oh, that's fucked. Let's go blow up this spot so I can go get this. Let me go get my $19 bait. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I've got a number of poppers that I keep on hand. I have some that are I found like bone white ones work absolutely great. I found that the best ones work in bluegill patterns. And it's because from what I've researched is that bloop, that noise at the surface during the time of like the bluegill spawn, it's common for bluegills to hit the surface like that and make a similar sound.
So actually, John said I toss a popper on and when shad. So that's exactly what was going on that day. It was there was, I mean, it's not shad here. They're most likely like golden shiners or something. But cause I don't know if there's alewives in there. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. But so they're busting, and every time, and even today when we found those, but there weren't as many. But Jeremiah tossed it. I saw one, told him to toss that fucking whopper plopper beyond it. I was like, make sure you toss it beyond it and run it through
and drag it through it.
And he got smoked on it.
It's fucking awesome.
So that's a really good tip, John. I appreciate that. So if you see that bait busting,
there we go. I knew someone was going to say it. Steve Hack says, get that popper to
Hawk Tour.
You know what I'm saying? Spit on that thing.
Spit on that thing. You get me?
God.
So there's our gear of the week. The Mega Bass Popper Max.
That is fucking awesome, dude. That is absolutely fucking awesome. I think that's a great bait. I'm gonna have to try it out because I just looking at the way it's carved out in the mouth. Is really, really interesting to me. So I'm pretty stoked on that in a major way. Guys, we're gonna take a short break, and when we get back, we've got Roy Leva with us, and Roy and I have a great conversation. You're not going to want to miss this. Roy, like I said earlier, Roy is one of the fishiest motherfuckers we've ever had on the show. And I am stoked that you guys get to listen in on this conversation. So we will see you guys at the end of that interview, wrapping up Jigs and Bigs. Do not go too far, folks. We got more Jigs and Bigs stuff coming up right after the Yeah, dude. I bought a 6 cents popper They only make one. They only have one.
Yep.
And it's kind of a funky shape. Like it's a little triangular.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And dude, that popper, it's a bluegill color. It's the only one that I've got that's bluegill color. And it's got this amazing dressed like blue shimmery foil in the dressed hook, and it just gets fucking hammered from
it
so
seems
many
most
species.
of them are doing that now with with that. It's what was the other one? I was just fucking looking at it in my little dungeon. I think it was Arc. Arc makes one too that's very similar.
Yep.
Oh, it's right here. Hold on. Oh god, my back hurts. Hopefully I don't fall.
Oh god. Get your life alert, Joe. Get your life alert.
Help, I've fallen and I can't get up.
So this is the Arc TP70, and this one's real nice too. Dude, remember when I had the shop and I first started bringing in Arc, and all they had was the rods, and then all of a sudden, like we kind of got to see like Arc develop, and now they have fucking reels and shit.
They've got great lures, absolutely great baits.
So this one has the feather on the back, actually.
Oh, yeah. So I have a weird popper from Booyah.
Okay.
I forget what the name of it is. It's a super finessey popper. Like, I don't think I could throw it on my bait casting topwater rod. I usually throw this on like a 7-foot medium spinning combo or something. And I will throw this sucker. It has a bill on it.
Okay.
So you can
I know exactly what you're talking about when you say the bill. Yeah.
I forget the name of it, but like
is it the bill on the top almost looks like a fucking paddlefish in a way?
No, I think the bill's underneath. It looks like a square bill.
All right. I'm thinking of a different one then.
And it's cool because it's almost like a little wake bait, you know?
Yeah.
When you just straight retrieve it. It's pretty slick. Arc reels do look good. Yeah, Steve, you're right. They do definitely look good. We're going to do an unboxing in the third segment.
Perfect.
I love it. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's fucking jam into it. We're rolling with the old 3, the 2. You know, guys, I figured I would save a little something in this show after the interview with Roy. By the way, thank you, Roy, for being part of the show. I'm serious. He and I have got to get in the Lund and send it and get on some multi-species, I think, in the Connecticut River system. We will do everything we can to stay north of the dam and avoid the shit show, pun intended, that's going on south of the dam. But we're going to go out and catch some fish. But I figured I would do something special for you guys, for the folks that are here deep in the cockles of the show, the third segment. Guys, we have an unboxing. Little fucking ASMR. I have a package from Amazon here. And I ordered a few things for the boat.
Oh.
Stuff for the boat. Let's start out with this. This is something that was recommended by Joe. Are these Airhead dock lines?
Yep.
Got these puppies right here. There's a little bit of bungee in there. Yeah, man, they look pretty awesome, and I'm stoked. I'm gonna pop these right into my storage in the rear of the boat.
Yep.
I have a little something to tell you that happened today while I was on the boat that I have never fucking experienced.
Okay.
So my buddy Eric was like, dude, it was like 90 where we are. We were just toasting.
Oh,
and
we were baking today too.
He's got that Irish skin. So he's like, yeah, man, I'm fucking dying. He's fucking putting sunscreen all over the place. I'm covered head to toe, dressed in black, like Johnny Cash on the water, right? Like as always. And he's like, you're okay? You're doing all right? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm drinking a Gatorade. I'm pumping down water. I'm sweating like a stuck pig. But I'm like, I'm doing all right. You know, I'm making things happen. He goes, hey, when we go over to that rock bar, you know, where you ka-chowed rather, your prop.
I love that term. Yeah.
It's so shallow. He's like, I'm going to jump in. And I was like, go for it. So he used the emergency fucking ladder to climb back up and everything.
Yeah.
So he's in the water, like just splashing around, doing his thing. He's got his rod. He's fishing. He's like waist deep in the water. Right. And I'm with the trolling motor, it's like tooling all over the place, casting. Out of nowhere, I hear from the back of the boat, And
What
I
the hell was
thought
that?
I destroyed my motor. I was like, what the
Right.
fuck? And then I noticed one of my covers for my storage lifting up. My inflatable PFD had triggered.
Oh, yeah. So wow, it's so funny you say that because the same thing.
Okay.
The same thing. It's wow. This is so funny because I got my boat back and I fucking was going through my shit and one of my PFDs went off.
Really?
While they had it. Yeah.
Now, I know that they have like it needs to have sense the water, and then it's got to sense pressure. The two things are going to make it trigger. And I'm like, at least I know it works. I'm like, I've had the thing for a few years now, and I'm like, it's never ever deployed. It's been fine.
Yeah.
But I'm like, granted, I was still legal because I had 2 other PFDs in there. I have 3 that I leave in there. But I'm like, man, that sucks. Now I have to get a refill kit and do the whole thing and all that stuff. So it's in the back of my truck right now, like fully distended, like everything. I'm like, that's wild. And he looked at me. He was like, we looked at each other. I was like, did I break the boat? Like, what happened? And it scared the fucking shit out of me. But
so, funny story. I was actually, and he's not on tonight, but I was with Dan Griffin. Dan Griffin was on my boat one time for a tournament. We did the Berkshire Bass tournament. I think it was on Quabog. And he was just having one of those mornings, and he comes, gets on the boat, and like has his gear in like one hand, his PFD or whatever. He's walking on the boat, and the thing just goes off in his hand, like fucking almost like, and it goes off so hard the thing almost just like flies out of his hand. I was like, oh hey, by the way, I have 2. You didn't even need to bring that.
But just to be safe, you know what I mean? So I have a couple other items here to open up. One of them is a suction cup arm mount for a tablet.
Yep. I need
for a tablet. I'm like, this is a great idea. Now, where I'm putting this is actually on the windshield of my boat on the inside to hold my iPad, which I have been using with Navionics for mapping, and it's been working out great. So I got myself a waterproof case.
Perfect.
So this way I'm covered. There's been days where it's been raining. I'm like, I'm not taking it out there.
Yeah, the iPads aren't waterproof like our phones are, right?
They're not. No, I don't think that they are. And I'm like, I'm not about to fool around with that. I want to make sure that it's, everything's good. And then I say, probably one of the most important boating accessories that I could get, that I've been really, really like awaiting this more than anything.
Cup holder.
A floating key ring.
Oh, okay. That's a good one too.
Got to have it, man. Got to have it. Floating key ring. This way I can keep my keys together, and if they fall in the water, boom, I've got them. Jesus.
I'll be honest, I've never once taken my key out of the ignition of the Skeeter.
I thought about that, but I was like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's on the trailer. I lock the hitch. It's not like it's going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've considered that. I'm like, should I just leave it in there? But I'm like, let's go ahead and do that. You're not wrong, Nick. We do have funny names for the bodies of water. What one was your favorite so far? What one was your favorite? Was it Quabog or was it?
So just the 3 closest to me, Nick. You have Quabog.
Yep.
Wickabog.
Oh yeah.
Lashaway.
Yep.
Fuck. What? Actually, what's the real name for fucking South Pond?
South Pond?
It's like
Quaquamquasit?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
Quaquamsit or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all Native American names out here.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of history out here with the Nipmuc tribe. But, actually, right by my house. So it was at the King Philip War fucking happened right near my house, actually.
No shit.
Yeah.
King Philip, the heir to the King Philip restaurant, and where the fuck is that?
Oh, I don't know.
Is it the Crisp Clean? Is it Phillipston? I think it might be in Phillipston.
Might be.
Crisp Clean Air, Phillipston, Mass.
I like the bogs. We do too.
I like the bogs. Yeah, we do like the bogs. We like the bog. Yeah. We like to bog with the bog. Orangutan titties.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wickabog would be a cool place to put your boat in. That place has got some fucking monsters.
There we go. Chrissy just said it. She goes, "What about the real name for Webster?"
Oh
Lake
my God.
Chungamunga Bunga Bong.
Yeah.
Oh, I love.
Hey
that
Nick,
shit.
if you get a second, look up Webster Lake in Webster, Massachusetts. Webster. That's not
like
the real
Matt
name.
Webster, like Matt Webster. Look that up.
Yeah, there you go. That's not the real name of the lake. Go check out what the real name of the lake is.
It's amazing. It's amazing. This was like a Jeopardy question.
Yep. And
Like-
again, it's a Native American name.
It's wild. And it has something to do, I think, with the depth of the lake. And then, like,
Yeah.
every time somebody said that they own it, they added another munga, I think, or some shit
Yep,
like that. It's fucking
something
crazy.
like that. Yeah.
It is. It's
Also,
kinda nuts.
another fun body of water to fish.
I've yet to fish it, and I
Really?
think I'm due. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool because it's a lot of like
It's
that,
big.
like hump fishing and I mean, there's a lot of
Mhm.
different varieties of fishing there. You can sit there and fish humps for smallies, and then take off and go fish grass for largemouth. You know what I mean?
It's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I did a wedding one time. There's a small wedding venue on that lake. I think there's
Mhm.
actually multiples, and I forget which one it was. So I
Yeah.
did this really small wedding. It was like 50 or 60 people. Pre-pandemic, like I was fishing, but I wasn't like I wasn't in it like the way I am right now.
Sure.
And I remember being out on that lake being like, this is crazy. So I looked up a map and I was like, this is big. Like, this is
yeah.
bigger than I realized. So
Yeah, it's a good sized body of water.
I'll have to check that out. That's definitely on my radar. I think probably what I'll do is I'll make some time to get out with the butcher. And I know that he loves that place.
Yeah,
and he
butcher's
knows it well.
a stick there. Yeah, he knows that. He knows that place well. He actually was
Fucking
just text. Oh, actually,
Yeah.
he was just texting me. Let's finish your unboxing, and then I have something.
That's
I
it. That's all I
Oh.
got. Yep.
dude. So are you familiar? Nick's gonna love this one. Are
Oh,
you
God.
familiar with Manchog Lake?
So yeah, I get Manchog mixed up with Mashpog.
Yeah, so you have Manchog. So he sent me this photo. So Northeast Bass had a fucking tournament on there today.
Yep. Oh.
Guess what the fucking winning weight was for 5 fish?
Manchog. I would say 15.
So we'll put it this way. He sent me this. He sent
Yep.
me the Facebook post, and my reaction was Jesus fucking Christ. It was 24 pounds, 6 ounces.
Holy shit. Really?
Right, dude? Right? And guess
That's-
what's second place was 19 pounds, 6 ounces.
That's still very impressive because, like, you were like,
That's
"Oh, I
hu-
got an 18-pound bag."
18,
That's
19-pound
impressive.
bag in Massachusetts is fucking crazy.
Hard to come by. But
Yeah, so
holy shit.
I saw
dude.
this, and let me see. I have let me see if I can, so you can see. Here's their fish.
Oh my God.
That's their 5 right there.
Oh my God, dude.
And I've done well there, but I've never caught like monsters there.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate that place because that is a ka-chow.
I've
like,
heard that. That's where
mecca.
it came up in the conversation.
So, dude, I put my boat in there, the Skeeter. I fucking ka-chowed my fucking prop and haven't been in there since.
Oh, that's
And-
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Fuck.
Because there's like it's kind of like Lashaway where you have to go through
Yep.
this tight channel. But dude, if you go off by 6 inches, you're fucked.
No shit.
Yeah. So but the fishing's pretty gnarly there, I will say.
Really? I
Yeah.
might have to fucking risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, just
Go on a
you'll
weekday
be
and
fine
fucking
if you trim all the, or you know what, even better, dude. Go
Go
in through
on
the
a trolling
channel with
motor.
your trolling motor.
Yep. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. You know, I've actually raised my trolling motor up a little bit. I was using the entire shaft down in the water, which
Oh
is
yeah,
great.
you got the Minn Kota power drive. So yeah, that's
Yep.
that adjustable fucking yeah.
It's adjustable. And I was like, you know, I'm going to put this up a little bit. And I was like, oh, I can do quite a bit. Like when there's chop, like you
Yeah.
can hear it go, and I'm like, all right,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
lower it a little bit more. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I've got it dialed pretty good right now. But yeah, that might be a good idea.
Wait
Yeah.
till you get the chop where that fucking bitch comes right out the water for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It happens on the Skeeter on big water sometimes.
There was one moment today where we had a wreck boat that was just like gave absolutely zero fucks. And this wake was so fucking crazy that I actually thought we were going to take water over the bow.
Yep.
I actually thought, I was like, holy shit. And I'm like, there was, and, it was close, but didn't actually come over. But I'm like, this is fucking crazy, man.
Yeah. I think when I was up on the St. Lawrence on that Phoenix, Taylor's buddy Kevin's Phoenix.
Yep.
I want to say, dude, you see like the cigarette boats and shit on there.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yep.
One of them went zooming by, dude. I think that's what it was. And dude, it came up. It was, our feet were like soaked. It was coming right up over the bow. Like,
no
I was
shit.
like, dude, you got to put your bilge on. He's like,
yeah.
Yeah, so.
Definitely. I think I made a decision too. I've been using the live well as a cooler, like keeping drinks in there and everything. Yeah. And it is insulated. Yeah. But like I put 25 pounds of ice in it. Yeah. And I mean, it was gone in like 12 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just water in 12 hours. I'm actually thinking I'm just going to start using it as a live well and just take my small cooler on board with me.
Yeah.
I think it just makes sense because I've been catching fish and I've needed to measure them. And I'm like, again, kayak mind, keep the net, hold the net over, do what I got to do. But it would be really nice to have both hands. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the live well, take the fish, pop the fish in the live well, boom, good to go.
Yep.
Make life nice and easy. In fact, I have a couple pairs of like those Rapala fish grips, the plastic ones.
Yeah.
The 6-inch ones might be nice to kind of pop on there, almost like a temporary tag. Drop them in there, just grab them real quick, boom, in and out as soon as I can.
There you go.
Maybe that's the move. But what a fucking fantastic show!
Great show,
great show this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're have like next week. Next week's weather looks like hot dog shit. It really does.
Yeah, it does.
Thunderstorms roll in on like Tuesday and then basically don't stop until next Sunday. Yep. So it's going to be sketch to say the least. I'm planning on going out, I think Friday with my dad. Tuesday, I've got some running around to do. I'm going to hopefully make a stop down by JCS and start talking what we're going to do for some mods and things.
Oh, yeah.
I may end up purchasing an upgrade tonight for the trolling motor. Who knows?
Sick.
We'll upgrade that head. We'll get some spot lock and we'll fucking hang out on some spots. Fish the shit out of them. Do you got anything you want to throw in before we wrap this sucker up?
No, man, that was it. It was the Manchog thing was the big one I wanted to make sure I remembered. And I don't have much. Actually, I'm supposed to have a tournament on fucking Thursday.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, it's a weird like during the week for ABA. I haven't been able to do ABA because I haven't had a boat.
Yeah.
But I'm like up in the air because it'll depend on when I almost said the name of the boat. It'll depend on when the new boat fucking is done because that's gonna be my priority.
For sure.
Because I'm gonna have to get the Skeeter ready to go, like cleaned out, and I'm not gonna bring it fucking all filthy and shit. I'm gonna clean it up all nice for him and stuff. So maybe I'll hit it. Maybe I won't. We'll see.
If you want to record some new,
like a gay bar.
It does. My God. Thank you, Nick, for saying that. I didn't want to be the guy. I'd rather it be the Canadian, but like that's 100% chug-a-lug-a-lug-a-lug. If when you do get the new boat, if you want to get some footage for like your own new boat release video.
Yeah.
Let me know. I'll take my boat out and I'll get some good stuff.
Hell yeah.
Hell
yeah.
Maybe I could even get some drone footage because there's a drone in the works.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I got to make a couple phone calls.
Yeah. There's been some
works.
good deals in like the marketplace for drones.
I got a friend.
Perfect. Even better.
That's even better. It's even better. I may actually, you know what? I may work out very well on Tuesday if I'm going out that way. So
yeah,
that could be good. It could be very good. All right. Well, guys, we're going to wrap this sucker up. Go ahead and do us a solid if you could. Make sure to be following us on all the socials. We're talking the Jigs and Bigs Instagram, of course, American Vet Fishing Instagram, the Jigs and Bigs Facebook page. Make sure to follow over there because we do occasionally do some live stuff over there and all kinds of other good stuff. Both Joe at American Vet Fishing on YouTube and the Jigs and Bigs YouTube. Check those out. In fact, I just dropped a short that has just kind of been nuts. And I'd like to actually throw some other stuff out there. In fact, I might take some stuff and do a voiceover and drop some of that Matt Webster stuff over there so folks can weigh in on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Not only that, but if you could be so kind as to give us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform. The big ones that help us out the most are obviously Apple Podcasts. We know the majority of you do listen on Apple Podcasts, though Spotify is up there as well. You can give us a star rating on Spotify, and that is just awesome. As always, in every episode of the show, we have a full breakdown of all of our partners with some links in there that can get you some deals. Promo codes are listed as well, not just the description, but also we have some good stuff for you as far as like tournaments, like the scavenger hunt. You have until the 8th. Well, okay, so you're not going to you'll be able to, by the time this drops on Tuesday, it'll be done. We have like a record low, by the way, for people in the scavenger hunt this month. It's like 7.
I feel like July's tough.
It really is. It's like 7. Yeah. But what'll be interesting is it's only going to be those top 2 spots that pay out.
Yep.
So that could be kind of interesting too. We got all kinds of good stuff going on, folks. Make sure to be following us. Give us a rating and review. We appreciate you. We know that our listening audience that's out there and our followers are the best that that we could ask for. And we just want to increase and make it the biggest party ever. So go ahead. And if you love Jigs and Bigs, share it with a friend. One other reminder, the jigsandbigs.com store is available with all kinds of great merch. If you're a jig head and you're looking at the recording of this show right now, or you're watching it on I guess you wouldn't see, or you're seeing it on social media, like the hat I'm wearing here. We've got hoodies, we've got tie-dye shirts, we've got fleece vests if you really want to dress it up. We have all kinds of great accessories for you, all Jigs and Bigs branded, and some novelty stuff too, like the Bernie's logo, like the podcast that your wife loves logo, like the Ditch Pickle Tickler logo that we've got. Check all this shit out, guys. Appreciate you so much. We will see you in 7 days with more Jigs and Bigs goodness. And as always, please tag us in any of your fish picks that you have, any of your posts that you have going on. We'd love to show you a little bit of love there with a like, a comment, a share, all that good stuff. Like we always say,
tits and ass, smoke some grass.
And that's a great idea right there.
Sick, dude.
I love it. Great fucking show.
Yeah, man. I agree. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Have a good one. I'll see you.
All right. See ya.
Take care. Jig heads, you guys are the best. I fucking love you guys. We will see you in 7 days with more Jigs and Bigs goodness. I am going to run upstairs and grab another beer, and I will be back for some podcasting shit on another show. We'll see you.